Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? Good evening. Good evening? I'm so used to streaming in the evening. Good morning. Good afternoon. Something. Good something. Good day. I'm excited. How is everybody today? I wanted full disclaimer. I literally had people randomly come round at my house an hour ago. I wanted to be ready for this, so I haven't looked at anything. Literally nothing. So I get Discord open on one monitor. I'm sure I've got Facebook open on that monitor as well. The hype's going to be blowing up. I thought I'd grab my old codex. So I have that so we can change, so we can see what the hell has changed. We'll be going through the Blood Angels rules that literally dropped like 10 minutes ago or something. Maybe half an hour ago, I don't know. So go brew your coffee. Get ready. Let's see where we land. Hopefully we're going to land in a good place. Hello to everybody in chat. Mike, AFolk, Nathan, Famas, Miles. Hello, Miles. How you doing? Gitley, Big Dirt. Good morning. It's been out 20 minutes. Wildling. Hello. All right. So, guys, please like today's stream if you can. That always helps me out. Thanks for being here, and let's get into it. So, it's a PDF. It's on the GW website. If you don't have the PDF, do you know what? I'll put the link in chat right now. I'll also throw this PDF into the video description. I'll do that right now. It'll be just linked to the PDF. So if anyone wants to just watch the PDF and doesn't want to hear me give my opinion on it, you can do that as well. Okay. And if I'm wrong at any point, please correct me in chat, because I'm probably going to be wrong on something. And remember, all you members, all you glorious members with the green names, you guys have a free super chat every month. So please use it if you want to. If there's a comment or something that you need me to see, please use your free super chat. Hold on, I'm going to turn on sound on my computer so that if a super chat does come in, I hear it. I haven't seen anything either. Okay, so what time is it in Blood Angels? How I need to. Hold on, how do I make Discord quiet? Man, I'm such a noob with Discord. How do you make it so it doesn't make a sound effect? When messages come in Discord. Somebody tell me how to do that. Voice and video, text, images. Streamer mode? Does enable streamer mode mean that I don't hear those stupid sound effects? I think it does, actually. Alright, cool. Is that what I need to click? Apparently streamer mode. Okay, cool. Alright, so Blood Angels. If your army is as adept as the start is, you can use the Sons of Sanguinius detachment rule. Your army can include Blood Angels units, but it cannot include any Adeptus Starter units that are from other chapters. So as far as we know, we can't take Guilliman. Each time an Adeptus Start is from your army, is selected to fight if that unit made a charge move. We knew this until the end of the phase. Add 1 to the strength and attacks characteristics of melee weapons by models in that unit. So we're getting +1 strength, and we're getting +1 attacks on the charge. There is no mention of our +2 advance or charge anymore, which is a little bit disappointing, but quit Discord will work. I wanted to keep Discord up in case anyone said anything interesting about the stream. Okay. I was looking at this last night, and I was actually starting to work on this week's tactics video. And in this week's tactics video, this is maybe a tiny bit off topic. I was looking at chaplains, right? I was looking at the chaplain with. It was in this PDF. The chaplain with a jump pack, right? I think the chaplain with a jump pack, when he's attached to a unit, because this was the video I was going to be working on for Friday this week, like my tactics video. My chaplain with a jump pack. Let me double check here. Chaplain with a jump pack. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model makes a melee attack, add 1 to the wound roll. So I think chaplains with jump packs. So I guess we'll see what Astaroth and Lamarta's land. But chaplain does mean +1 to the wound roll, so potentially we can get +1 strength and +1 to the wound roll. The other cool thing about this chaplain is that every time the model is selected to fight, so if the chaplain's attached to like Vanguard veterans or something, then every time they fight, they can do mortal wounds just because they have a chaplain attached to them. Okay, let's get back to Blood Angel stuff. So +1 strength, +1 attack. We know we can stack that with other things. Okay, let me see. All right, stratagems. Anyone saying anything? Please use your super chat if there's something that I need to see. Okay. Angel sacrifice. Select one character from your army that was destroyed. You can use a stratagem on a unit even though it was just destroyed. Until the end of the battle, each time a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit makes an attack that targets the enemy unit that just destroyed your character, you can re-roll the hit roll. Okay, so Angel Sacrifice got objectively worse. So you use it. One character from your army was just destroyed. Until the end of the battle, sorry. Okay, so for the rest of the game, each time a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit makes an attack that targets the enemy that destroyed your character unit, you can re-roll the hits. Okay, maybe that's not objectively as bad as it was, right? So, like, they kill, I don't know, Mortarion kills your character. For 1 CP, you're going to get to re-roll all hits against Mortarion for the rest of the battle. That's actually not too bad for 1 CP. I mean, there's a bit of overlap there with Oath of Moment. But yeah, I feel like that's actually not too bad for 1 CP. Okay, please, if there's something you want to correct me on or talk to about, shout out. Aggressive Onslaught. In the fight phase, select one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army just before it consolidates. Until end of the phase, each time this modeling unit makes a consolidation move, it can move 6 instead of 3, provided your unit ends in consolidation move in unit coherency and with an engagement range of 1 or more enemies. I'm not sure I love Aggressive Onslaught. I think it's going to be much harder to pull janky stuff in the fight phase because of the new engagement range rules, or the new fight rules where you need to be in base-to-base contact. Consolidate 6 could be useful in some situations. You know that situation where you need one more model and an objective to maybe control the objective? I guess there's some edge play around Aggressive Onslaught in that it means that, when you do a consolidate move and you're like, damn it, I just needed one more model to make it onto that objective, and I flipped that objective, then I guess for 1 CP there's an edge case here. I don't think it's very good. Smith, in the video description, there's a link to the PDF that I'm looking at right now. You should be able to just get it from the video description. And yeah, if you guys have a second, please hit like button on the stream as well. Turkey says he skimmed through the new rules. We lose some tools, but we get some new ones. Red Rampage looks good again. Let's look at Red Rampage then. Fight phase. One Adeptus Astartes unit from your army has not been selected to fight this phase until the end of the phase. Melee weapons equipped in this model's unit have the Lance and Lethal Hits ability. Lance and Lethal Hits. Do you know what? I pulled up the core rules because I'm not 100% on all this Lance and Lethal Hits quite yet. So I'll just bring up the text so we know exactly what we're dealing with. Weapons with Lance in the profile are known as Lance weapons. Each time attack is made with such weapon, if the bearer has made a charge rule move this turn, add 1 to the wound roll. Okay, so Red Rampage basically gives us for 1 CP on a unit, +1 to wound. So people were very upset that we lost +1 to wound. So it seems now we can pay 1 CP and get it back on top of our +1 attacks, +1 strength. So that's maybe not too bad at all. So that means we can, like, Vanguard Veterans, for example, a unit that everybody hates, strength 5 now. For 1 CP when the Vanguard Veterans charge, they will still wound toughness 4 units on 2s. Right? Lethal Hits, I believe, is... I'm just going to read it because I'm probably going to get it wrong. So I don't want to get anything wrong. Lethal Hits is... each time attack is made with a weapon, a critical hit automatically wounds the target. So again, 6s to hit will be auto wounds. So we know that We know that lethal hits is really strong, in that we get auto wounds, and we're going to get +1 to wound. That's actually really good. I think Red Rampage is like... I think Red Rampage's objective really, really good. Does anyone dislike Red Rampage? I think that you won't be able to stack +1 to wound. Right? Like, I think it's like it is before. You won't be able to stack more than +1 to hit. You won't be able to stack more than +1 to wound. However, Red Rampage to me seems really good. That's the sort of strat that I've always wanted, I think, on Blood Angels. And it's really good for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons I think this is really good is one of the biggest problems I had with Blood Angels was if you were in combat and you potentially aren't charged, then you're not... So before, you needed to be charged or charge. Now it's only you're only getting your additional attack from the what are we calling this? The chapter tactic, the Red Thirst. You're only getting your additional attack if you charge. You're only getting your +1, so you're only getting your strength and your attack if you made a charge move, not if you were charged. So in the situation that you were charged, right now we're a bit weaker. And in a situation where you were in combat for more than one turn, you were also a bit weaker. However, Red Rampage now seems objectively pretty good, because if we were charged, then 6s are going to become +1 to wound and auto wounds. And if we weren't charged, then 6s are going to become just auto wounds. You're not going to get the +1 to wound. You know, they talked a lot about making this simpler. This is actually... what did they call it? They said simpler, but not simple. This is actually quite a few things to remember. Does Lance also proc on heroic interventions? Somebody asked that the other day, Mike, and you know what? I'd have to scan. This is why this is called a first look. If someone can scan the core rules and tell me if Lance procs on heroic interventions, I think someone said that in heroic interventions you sort of pseudo count as charging. Let me see if we can find it. There's only one mention of heroic intervention in the core rules. Seems unlikely. So in your opponent's charge phase, just after an opponent has charged, target one model is within 6. You're able to declare a charge against that enemy if it was your charge phase. Your unit now declares a charge that targets only the enemy unit, and you resolve that charge as if you were in your charge phase. You can select a vehicle unit if it's a walker. Note that even if this charge is successful, your unit does not receive any charge bonus this turn. So I think that means probably not. Page 29, hold on. Page 29. Page 29. Each time a unit makes a charge bonus, it fights first. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure. I think, from what I'm seeing, the answer would be no, but maybe someone will correct me. Okay, Red Rampage, I think it looks really good. I wanted a strat that you could play on Sanguinary Guard or Death Company when they're not charged to make them better. Then this is the strat that you could use on them. And there's no... What's great here is there's literally no restrictions on this. Use this on any unit you want. So use it on a Redemptor Dreadnought. Use it on a 10-man squad of Vanguard veterans. Use it on whoever the hell you want. Okay. Mercenary says he's feeling more positive than negative. Buffalo Bolter says he's at work delivering mail in the rain in Buffalo. Okay, cool. I hope the rain isn't too bad. I don't think Lance activates on heroic intervention, says Turkey. Okay, I don't know if Lance is going to proc on heroic interventions. I need to find out, I guess. Alright, Armor of Contempt. This is a Space Marine strat, so we keep Armor of Contempt. So I'm actually kind of cool with keeping Armor of Contempt too. I kind of wanted to keep it. I think it's in an edition where AP is down a lot, we know AP is down a lot across the board. Being able to reduce AP by 1 is going to be really, really strong. This will be good on Sandguard, I assume. This will be good on Death Company. Might even be good on Dreadnoughts or Land Raiders. So keeping Armor of Contempt, I'm fine with that. Remember, these strats 100% replace your Space Marine strats. So if you have these strats, you don't get any of the Space Marine strats. 120 plus people watching the stream. I don't know, I think my highest ever been like 190. But I mean, it is random 2 o'clock on a Monday morning, so, or Monday afternoon. Cool. Only in death does duty end. So, in the fight phase, after an enemy unit has selected its target, one Adeptus start unit from your army that was selected to the target of one or more attacks. Until end of the phase, each time model in the unit is destroyed, that model is not fought, do not remove them. The destroyed model can make an attack model, can fight after the attacking model is finished making its attacks, and then be removed from play. Hey, hey fucking man! We have fight on death. We have fight on death. I think, like, the stream we could just be done right now. I have a box of Cuban cigars here. I mean, I'm fucking tempted right now. These were bought for a 40th birthday party. What do you think? I mean, I never smoke in the house either. But I mean, we have fight on death. What do you think? Smoke a habanero? Yes, let's do it. I mean, I'm all for it today. I could have a whiskey as well, actually. What do you think? Cuban? I actually don't know where the cigar cutter is. But we have fight on death, 2 CP. How about that? That's huge, right? Because we know already... well, if you're on my stream... Hey, thank you so much for becoming a member, Buffalo Bill. I appreciate that. We know, the other night when I was talking on stream, we can attach Judiciars to Blade Guard, and that gives them the ability to fight first. We can attach multiple Judiciars to multiple squads of Blade Guard. We can put them inside some sort of transport. That is going to be strong as all hell, I think. Blade Guard objectively kind of got a buff as well, in that they're better at doing damage, and they're also better at... They're better at doing damage. They're potentially more survivable as well when you have to go into their invulnerable. Smoke a Cuban for 1 CP. I was going to say 100 gifted subs and I'll smoke a Cuban right now. I do a Valrak. 100 gifted subs. Or you can go with 50 gifted subs. It actually takes me like 45 minutes to smoke a Cuban cigar, and I'd have to replace it because they're not my Cubans. But we have fight on death. Honestly, that's worth smoking a cigar for. Fucking A. Fight on death on any unit. It's not just a specific unit, it's not just infantry, it's any unit. So if we have multiple units that can fight first, which we know we can do, and then that makes, like, if the enemy want to engage a 10-man squad of Sangre Guard, that's like super scary for them, because like I fight against Space Wolves a lot, they have Woven, they fight on death. They're kind of similar damage output to Sangre Guard, I would say, Wolven are, but this is huge. Am I not playing... I was playing Diablo 4, but this is more important work. If anyone wants to join my guild in Diablo 4, I'm level 30 on my druid now, by the way. Anyway, Relentless Assault. Okay, cool. 1 CP. Use it in your movement phase after an Adeptus RE unit from your army falls back. Until the end of the turn, it's eligible to charge. Alright, okay, I'm fucking done. I'm happy. I'm happy as all shit now. Holy crap. Fight on death and fall back and charge. And Red Rampage. Yeah, okay. I mean, losing Angel Sacrifice kind of sucks. But, it better not be Sangre Guard or limited to one squad of 5, Mike. Get out of town. You're lying in the chat. Okay. Red Rampage Vanguard Veterans, even less of an option, seeing that half the strat is useful. Why is half the strat for Vanguard Veterans useful? Oh, because did they already have lethal hits or something when they charge? I mean, you're going to want to use Red Rampage... Let me look at Vanguard Veterans. Hold on. There's a lot to take in from... I was still working... I only started looking at the... I started only looking at the Space Marine Index in like real detail last night. Vanguard Veterans. I'm not really interested in the ones without jump packs. So they get lethal hits when they charge. Okay, but remember, the thing about Red Rampage means you can play it when the unit hasn't charged, and I think that's important. Because there's a lot of times for Blood Angels that a unit is either stuck in combat or has been charged. Like, I guess we'll see when we come to Death Company. Death Company, I'm sorry, Mike, I didn't read your whole comment. I'm too excited. Like Death Company at the moment, when they get charged, or kind of like Thunderhammer Death Company, they had 2 attacks base, and then they got like 1 from charging, 1 from Shock Assault, 1 from Red Thirst, so like they could get 5 attacks, but later in the game you could end up with them just having 2 attacks if they're stuck in combat. So being able to have a strat you can play on units stuck in combat. But that's interesting actually, is like, when I first read Red Rampage, I was like, cool, that's a great strat we can play on units that are stuck in combat, because they obviously don't get the +1 strength, +1 attacks. I think you're probably just going to be objectively better to just play Relentless Assault. So just fall back and charge, and then I guess because you charged, you get to fight first. Cool, a few people want to join my Dablo guild. Cool. Message me on Discord. I'll send you my battle tag. Okay. So the 6 stratagems we got, I'd say Angel Sacrifice. I kind of like the new version. I think there's plays you could do with the new version as well, right? Like, let's say you are fighting Angron or Mortarion or some sort of other big nasty monster that you have to deal with. Could you not just charge them with like a Sangry Priest with a jump pack, or someone cheap, a captain on a bike, something super cheap, and be like, haha, if you now kill my captain on a bike, I will just pay 1 CP and I'll reroll all my hits against your giant big monster for the rest of the battlefield, or for the rest of the battle. That's probably worth it, right? Like if I'm trying to think like what's like, I don't know, like they've got a giant knight, like an 800 point knight. Sure, kill my 100 point character. I'll reroll all my wounds, all my hits against you for the rest of the battle for 1 CP. If you think about it, and that's not just combat, right? That's shooting and combat. Until the end of the battle, each time a friendly unit makes an attack against the enemy that destroy the character, reroll hits. I mean, I feel like it's really good for 1 CP. It's situational, sure, you got to give up a character, but most of the time we give up characters, right? So, rather than the character protecting the unit now, the character's objectively giving you a buff. Aggressive Onslaught, I think, is average. Armor of Contempt, I think, will have its place. But the 3 that I'm excited about, Relentless Assault, Only in Death is Duty, and Red Rampage, these seem objectively much better. I'm really happy with that. I mean, yeah, you used to have to pay 2 CP to fight on death with a single character, which was generally never worth it. On a big unit of Sangard, that will 100% be worth it, or a big unit of Death Company. I guess we don't have Forlorn Fury anymore, but I guess we're going to get down to seeing what some of the units are. So that's our strats. Any questions about the strats before we move on? If we already have Oath of Moment for wound rerolls, is paying a CP for rerolling wounds after we've lost a character that useful? Well, the thing about Oath of Moment, right, which we do have, Smug, is that just gives you multiple, like, I guess, like, if you're fighting Mortarion, for example, yes, maybe you want to use Oath of Moment against Mortarion, but, like, I think it just gives you, like, if you have a big, nasty enemy unit that you're going to reroll hits against for the rest of the game, then I feel like you can just use your Oath of Moment elsewhere. And we know Oath of Moment's going to be a giant damage buff anyway, so just being able to use it in rerolls in multiple places is generally going to be pretty good. Rerolls adds reliability to damage output. I think, plus people will get to realize that you've got Angel Sacrifice, and it'll make them dealing with characters a little bit more. They can't bog us down now, since we have Red Rampage. Well, they can't bog us down because we've got Relentless Assault. I think that's objectively better than Red Rampage, but 10 Death Company charging something, kills it, gets charged back, then slaps another unit off the board with fight back. I mean, totally. Or, if they don't kill them, fall back and charge. I'm very pleased with these strats. Alright, let's have a look at enhancements. So we've got Artisan of War as the first enhancement, and bear in mind they said you can pick 3 enhancements. So your army can get 3 enhancements. The first one is improve the armor penetration of the bearer's weapon by 1, and the bearer has a save characteristic of a 2+. So basically give one model, any model, one of his weapons can do 1 more damage, and he can get a 2+ save. The interesting thing about this, I suppose, is like... shout out some characters that you think you could give this guy to. You could give this to, right? Am I right in thinking that I can give this to, like, a sergeant as well? Like, I could give this to a Blade Guard veteran sergeant, and you could have a 2-up save and a 3 damage mastercrafted power sword? Can I do that? Alright. Archangel Shard. It's a sword. So an Adeptus Astartes model only. The bearer's melee weapon now has the Anti-Chaos 5+ and the Lance ability. Okay, so Lance is +1 to wound on charging. Anti-Chaos is, I guess, auto-wounding Chaos on 5+. Or always wounding Chaos on 5+. You think you can give it to characters only? Thank you. Okay. But you can give these to named characters as well? A Librarian Dreadnought? Oh, interesting choice, actually. Give him a 4 damage fist and a 2-up save. I like Artisan of War and Librarian Dreadnought. There doesn't say anything about no... doesn't say anything about no vehicles. That was the problem with the Librarian Dreadnought before. Some of these enhancements used to say that you could give them to infantry only, or you couldn't give them to characters only. So a Librarian Dreadnought could take that. That would be cool. Visage of Death. Okay, so we kept Visage of Death. What does it do now? Well, an enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles within the engagement range of the bearer, have the objective control characteristic of this model, of the models in that unit. Interesting. I think Visitor of Death got quite a bit worse there. So monsters and vehicles are unaffected, and objective control models are halved. What happens if you're objective control 1 and you get half to 0.5? Does it round up or down? Because usually when you round in 40k, you round. I was trying to think, when you take a 3 damage weapon and you half the damage, it does 2 damage. So you usually round up, right? I haven't seen any rules that talk about models with like OC 0.5. What does that do? Or do you just add it up at 0.5? Mike says they would need an FAQ and anything that halves OC. Okay, interesting. 2-up save on Librarian Dreadnought does look good. It doesn't say anything about rounding in the new edition. Okay, yeah, I hadn't seen anything about rounding, so maybe it counts as 0.5. So if you've got 5 guys on it, now you have OC 2.5. Okay, and then Icon of the Angel is our final enhancement. Each time an enemy, excluding monster and vehicles within engagement range of the bearer's unit, is selected to fall back, models in that enemy unit must take a desperate escape test as if their unit was battle shocked. So when doing so, if the enemy unit is also battle shocked by other means, subtract 1 from each of the desperate escape tests. Wow, okay, so Icon of the Angel no longer... So we've kind of lost the ability to get extra movement, it seems like. And that's not the greatest. And we've also lost the ability to get those free reroll charges. I guess captains can potentially reroll charges. But basically, Icon of the Angel prevents enemies falling back, excluding vehicles and monsters. I don't like these rules that are like excluding vehicles and monsters, because sometimes you fight a lot of vehicles, sometimes you fight a lot of monsters. So I think Visitor of Death and Icon of the Angel might be the worst of the two. Artisan of War is looking good. I'm not sure I think any of the other ones are looking that good. Maybe Icon of the Angel, but I don't think you're going to need it. If you're fighting infantry, usually our guys are pretty good at killing infantry. Okay. Nucking says Icon of the Angel looks crap, or I won't say what you actually type Nucking, but yeah, I get the impression. Visitor of Death is weird. Archangel Shard is a strange one to keep. I was going to say, I feel like Wrath of Baal is the main one I'm missing. Let's hope when we get to Sangre Ancient that we still have some sort of Wrath of Baal ability. Alright, so now we got a cool picture of the Blood Angels. And let's start with Astaroth. We're in alphabetical order, are we? I was going to say, if they put it in alphabetical order, I'll be happy, because this is what I always moan about. I noticed the Space Marine one wasn't in alphabetical order, and it was like you went from Librarian to Intercessors back to Librarian. I was like, oh, okay, that's annoying. Anyway, Astaroth. So he still moves 12, he still has toughness 4, 2 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 5+, objective control 1, and then 4 up invulnerable save. So I feel like most of that is identical. He has a bolt pistol, whoop-de-doo. His axe is now strength 6 minus 3, 2 damage. So realistically, when he charges, it's strength 7, and he has 5 attacks. So he used to get a bit more attacks because of litanies and stuff like that. He does have devastating wounds, which means he can do a few mortals. Every 6 to wound will be multiple mortals. That's nice. Poor John will find out. Okay, don't, no spoilers, no spoilers. We'll find out. Alright, Redeemer Lost. While this model is the ending unit, each time a model in that unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if that model has not fought this phase, roll 1d6 and a 4 up. Do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making an attack. So this is like a pseudo fight on death. I mean, I feel like you'd probably... It's not a bad ability to have, but I kind of... And it's better than it used to be, because it used to be on a... Like, the banner used to be on a 4-up, you got to make 1 attack. No, you can use all his attacks. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. Massive Doom, once per battle, so they've returned Massive Doom to the once per battle thing. When this model unit makes a charge move, this model can use its ability. When it does, until the end of the turn, melee weapons equipped have devastating wounds. Alright, so every 6 to wound will be mortals on a charge. I mean, that could be good with a giant squad of Death Company with chainswords. It could be a lot of mortals, actually. But I guess Astaroth used to give, like, +1 to hit. He used to give rerolls. So, okay. And he's an epic hero. I don't know if that's relevant, but it is mentioned there. Okay. Astaroth can attach to Death Company Marines with jump packs. It's his only choice. So... Death Company already have devastating wounds on Thunderhammers. So you probably don't want to attach him to a Death Company unit that has Thunderhammers. And I was going to say, and he doesn't do anything for morale for Death Company anymore. He used to auto-pass morale for Death Company, right? Burgosaurus, 6.99 Canadian. Thank you so much. We need more super chats in the stream. Thanks, Berg. Yeah, there'll be plenty of 10th edition content coming out. Don't you worry.
Burgosaurus donated $6 Canadian and 99 cents via super chat. Stream needs more super chats. Thanks for the content, brother. Hope to see Bloods on top in 10.
Astaroth is in a weird place. I was looking at the Chaplain with Jump Pack last night, right? Chaplain with Jump Pack, because he gives +1 to wound. And he also gives, each time this model fights, you do mortal wounds. He doesn't do anything for leadership either. Huh. Okay, so we I guess Battle Shock... Well, we'll see what Lamartis does in a minute or two. Astaroth needs a model update. Yeah, I mean, I think because we're gonna have to wait a year for a codex, we may see something. We may see some sort of Primaris models when we get our codex, like in a year's time. Oh, there's a thunderstorm here. Okay, I was wondering what the hell that noise was. He's kept quite a lot of AP. Like, a lot of things went down in AP. Astaroth has kept his AP for whatever that's worth. 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, devastating wounds on 6s. He's not as much of a killing machine as he was. I was going to say, I'm maybe going to have to do another video where I rate all the characters. Astaroth, for me, doesn't seem as strong as he was, I think. Reziel, I'm surprised Reziel isn't... Maybe he's not awake yet, but Rez is going to come in here and tell me. What do you guys think of Astaroth? Give him a rating out of 10. Type it like a number dash 10 so we actually know like we're talking about Astaroth. Or type Astaroth. Give him a rating out of 10. We'll move on to a Ball Predator next. I'm hoping the Ball Predator has devastating wounds on the Twin Assault Cannon, because that's what the Gladiator Reaper got. So we do get to keep Twin Assault Cannons. 4 attacks, not 5. Yeah, well, it's 5 on the charge. Sorry, you're going to get +1 strength, +1 attack on your charge from your Blood Angel's Doctrine, right? So that'll give you 5 attacks and strength 7. The base attacks of 4 is pretty low. What does a like a regular chaplain, like just a regular chaplain with a jump pack with, I don't know what sort of weapon, like a Crozius? He actually gets 1 more attack. I guess Astaroth has a lot of AP now, but like to keep all that AP, he's had to given up. He's lost quite a lot, I feel like. Some people are saying Astaroth is as low as 4 out of 10. The highest we've got is 7 out of 10. All right, so people don't really love Astaroth. Okay, next up, Ball Predator. So I thought they would remove overcharged engines. I thought it was a useless rule. Let's read it. If you can reroll advances made for this model, I think it used to auto-advance 6. Each time this model advances until the end of the turn, ranged weapons equipped with this model have the assault ability, but they can only target infantry units. That is very strange. What's funny though is I have been saying that. I've been saying Ball Predators would be useful if they could advance and shoot their flamers. I've been saying that. So someone from Games Workshop watched one of my streams where I said that. I don't know why the stipulation of you can only shoot infantry. That seems very strange. That seems like a wasted stipulation. But anyway, the Flamestorm Cannon gets 3 extra shots now. So actually the Flamestorm is more reliable. Ignoring cover and D6 plus 3 auto hits. So minimum of 4, maximum of 9. That actually is kind of a buff. Like, I guess it's a double buff to the Flamestorm. You can move, you could advance, you can fire 18 inches with an average of about 7 flamer hits, auto hits, strength 6 minus 2. It's kept its good AP. What about the sponsons? You could put, I guess, heavy flamers on the sponsons or the heavy bolters. The heavy bolters have sustained hits, same profiles before. Heavy flamers have pretty much the same profiles before. The Twin Assault Cannon does have devastating wounds and twin linked. On the Assault Cannon, and is there anything else to know about the Ball Predator? I guess we're going to have a Hunter Killer Missile as well if you really want a Hunter Killer Missile. Hits on 2s, D6 damage, strength 14 minus 3. I mean, it's not a bad model to have a Hunter Killer Missile on. Suddenly I'm glad I glued the Flamestorm on my Ball Predator, says Nucking. Yes, I mean, I can't decide. I feel like I'd probably put the main... I think I'd probably put the Flamestorm Cannon on it. It looks scarier now than the Assault Cannon. Because the Assault Cannon only gets 6 shots. Hitting on 3s mean realistically you're going to be lucky to do like 1 mortal wound. You're probably... Every time the Assault Cannon shoots, you're probably going to do 1 mortal wound. I don't think that's that exciting, whereas the Flamestorm, ignoring cover, doing 7 auto hits, might... It looks objectively much better. The ball still moves 12 inches. It's got toughness 10. It's got 11 wounds. It's got objective control 3. I think the toughness 10 is interesting because it's on the same chassis as like a Rhino. So having 1 extra toughness is nice. I don't hate Ball Predators. They're going to be good against infantry heavy lists, especially if you can flame a bunch of infantry. But I guess they're going to be a little bit situational. What do people think of Ball Predators? Do they like them? Hey Thorn, thank you so much for subscribing. 193. Let's see if we can pass 200 concurrent viewers. We're almost there. That'd be good. That'd be the best stream yet. Please hit the like button if you haven't done it before. Ball Predators for me, I've been running mine with the twin assault cannons and the twin heavy bolter. I think it's going to come down to points. I think it's good it can... I was going to say, I think it's good it can advance and shoot. Can only shoot infantry when it advances, but most of the time you're killing infantry with the Ball Predator. I guess in some situations you might be killing beasts or swarms or something like that. So it's a bit situational, but against certain armies, I guess being able to assault on the flamers is going to be decent, right? We've got people saying Ball Predator is all the way up at 8 out of 10. We've got someone saying it's 9 out of 10. And then Fod says it's 6.5. Fod, what's... Okay, so Ball Predator is more positive than the last one. A little mixed. Toughness 10 on the Ball Predator. If it's as cheap as it is points-wise, like in 9th edition, on toughness 10 and 11 wounds, I actually kind of like that. I've been running 2 of them with like 2 heavy bolters and 2 assault cannons, or 2 twin assault cannons. But it might be better to run them with heavy bolters and the flamers now. Thank you so much for subscribing, Kevin. I appreciate it. Okay. Mike says it's 10 out of 10. Give me 3. I love you, Mike. I want to see 3 Ball Predators in a list. Yeah, why not? The Overwatch will be nice. Yeah, if you go for flamers, it sure will be. Okay, I'm going to have to write down what models I need to buy next. All right, Corbolo. This will be interesting. Corbolo has been dog shit in 9th edition, and I think he was dog shit in 8th edition. I cannot remember the last time I put Corbolo on the battlefield. Let's see if that's going to change today. So, toughness 4, 6-inch move, wounds 4. He has a bolt pistol, and he has Heaven's Teeth, which is a 6 attack chain sword, strength 5 -1, weapon skill 2 up. For some reason, his bolt pistol has weapon skill 2 up as well. I guess on the charge, that'll be strength 7 -1, with 7 attacks. Pilot's model is leading a unit. Models in that unit have a Feel No Pain 5-up ability. That seems slightly interesting. And the Red Grail, while this model is leading a unit, add 1 to attacks characteristics of melee weapons for models in that unit. Okay, so his 2 buffs actually seem not bad. Who can he join? He can join Assault Squad, Devastator Squad, Tactical Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad. Oh, that's disappointing. I'm very unlikely to add him to Devastator Squad because that's not what they do. Tactical Squads, I don't run them, so I'm very unlikely to add them to that. Vanguard Veterans without jump packs, I mean, maybe. I actually looked at Assault Squad last night because I was looking at Assault Squads in the core rules just to see, like, Assault Squad. And if you actually do look at Assault Squads, like if you're just looking for like chain sword attacks, right? Like we just want chain sword attacks. Assault Squads actually do not bad if you just need to bring chain swords. So like an Assault Marine brings 4 attacks. So it would be 5 attacks on the charge. It would be 6 attacks if they're led by Corbolo. They also have this cool thing called Chainsword Doctrines. Each time the unit is selected to fight, select one of the following abilities to apply to all your chainswords. You can get lethal hits, you can get sustained hits, or you can get lance. So, I guess maybe if you just want to run a boatload of chainswords, probably on like a cheap throwaway unit that's maybe in a transport like a Rhino or something, there's maybe an edge case where Corbolo could lead them and could be decent, but these 2 things seem great, and then the units that you can attach to seem like dog shit. So probably what that means is, unless I'm really missing something, like I said, Assault Squads seem like they might be okay, but would you not maybe I was going to say, would you not be maybe better just taking Death Company Marines? I guess if you take a lot of Assault Squad guys with chainswords, though, it might be okay. The leader can't join any infantry unit is a bit disappointing. Who can't join any infantry unit? Sorry. Well, I mean, he can join units that we just don't typically run. Corbolo's face looks like Donald Trump. I'm out. I mean, if you actually do look at it, He does look a little bit like a young Donald Trump, doesn't he? We won't go into politics on this channel, don't worry. If you could put him in Blade Guard, that would be nice. Yeah, that's what I was hoping he could join, like, Blade Guard or something. They seem to have made it that, like, Firstborn can only join Firstborn squads. I don't know if I think that... I think that's a bit like the restrictions they used to have where, like, Firstborn Marines can only go Firstborn transports. I don't think it makes all that much sense. And I feel like there's a big... it's a big sad... For me, this is a big sad face, because when you read these two buffs in isolation, I'm thinking, cool, Corbolo might actually be useful. I guess the only choice probably is got tons of chainswords. Hey Chris, thanks so much for subscribing. So tons of chainswords. We're up at 215 concurrent now. That's fucking crazy. Thanks guys for being here. I appreciate the support. This channel didn't exist when 9th edition launched, so going into 10th, this is very exciting for me. Thank you so much. Okay, I haven't looked at the non-jump pack Vanguard veterans very much. Let me have a look. Vanguard veterans, that's who you can join. The non-jump pack ones, if they end a charge move, they get lethal hits, but they just have heirloom weapons. I guess if you had a bunch of Vanguard veterans with storm shields and heirloom weapons, and then you're given... So they've got a storm shield and they've got a 5-up. They've got a 5-up Feel No Pain. They've got a 4-up in Van. Corbolo can't res anymore, though. He can't revive any models. Strange. Alright, what do we think of Corbolo out of 10? I think someone already said 2 out of 10. I think you were being harsh, but you might be right. Multi-laced says, oh, Games Workshop are emailing me right now about more reveals. Cool. I think it'll be them emailing about this. The Hopeless Painter says, I hope we get some more models soon. I think we'll get some new Primaris characters or a Primaris refresh when we get our new Codex, which is about a year away. Corbolo needs an update more than Astroth. Yeah, I mean, Corbolo suffers for not having a jump pack. And then the squads they've given him to attach to are kind of lackluster. 4 out of 10, 3.5 out of 10. Nucking says 6 out of 10, he's better than he was before. I guess that's right. So, Corbolo's... Deny the Wild says, Corbolo is a solid 1 out of 10. Alright, Corbolo. I'll see you in 11th edition, or I'll see you after the range refresh. Next up, Tycho has survived, I guess. I don't know why he survived another edition, but he has survived nonetheless. His weapon, the Blood Song, was a fancy combi weapon, and it is still some sort of mad combi weapon. So 2 attacks on ballistic skill 2 up, which is actually not bad. Strength 4, -1, 2 damage, anti-infantry 4 up, devastating wounds, and Melta 2. So at half range, at half range on 6s, he'll do 4 mortal wounds, is that right? So Tycho can potentially do 8 mortal wounds with his Meltagun now. I mean, okay, cool. So Tycho's still here now with a potential 8 mortal wound Meltagun. Him being not a legend is a meme at this point. He also has the Dead Man's Hand, which has got better as well. It's got 1 AP now. It's got 2 damage. I think that's better. I don't remember Tycho having 2 damage in melee. I think I'm so confused that Tycho's still here. I mean, he's been dead since Armageddon. Yeah, Dead Man's Hand used to be 1 damage. And he actually used to just get 4 attacks with it. So he's got 2 extra attacks. He's got a little bit less AP, but he's got 2 damage. And then on the charge, I guess he's got 7 attacks. So Tycho can do 8 mortal wounds in shooting, and then he gets 7 attacks on the charge. Gifted Commander. While this model is leading a unit, each time that unit is selected to shoot, select 1 of the following abilities applied to ranged weapons equipped with the model in the unit until the end of the phase. So he can give weapons assault, heavy, or rapid fire. Okay, that's kind of crazy. So we can make it that any weapon can be advanced in shot, or remain stationary and get +1 to hit from heavy, or rapid fire, basically a half range, shoot twice. So his his shooting buff is actually really good. I guess we'll see who can join in a minute. The first time an attack is allocated to this model after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks until the end of the battle, change the attack characteristics of the model to the dead man's hands to 12. Say what? The first time an attack is allocated to this model after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks. So the second an enemy attacks him, the first time he's attacked in combat, so not if he attacks, when he's attacked, his weapon then becomes attacks 12. I guess if we charge, he would go to like... Okay, so what? I mean, what? like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Tycho, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, he can do 8 mortal wounds with his gun, and then he has 12 attacks at 2 damage. And he has a 4-up invulnerable save, 2-up save, 5 wounds, OC1. I think... Let's see what he leads. Alright, what does he lead? Okay, so he leads the same 4 squads as before. An assault squad, a tactical squad, a vanguard veteran squad, or a command squad. Interesting choice of leading a command squad. I did look at the command squad last night because I haven't run. I actually own like a super old command squad, but I haven't run a command squad in I don't know, forever. Does anyone run a command squad in forever? I didn't even think they were really an option before. But command squad, if you're not familiar, because I wasn't familiar until I looked last night, it's a squad that contains 2 company veterans, a company champion, a company ancient, and an apothecary. And while the squad starts taking damage, the apothecary can res the veterans, right? What can the veterans actually be equipped with? The ancient can take a combi weapon. Any of the veterans can have lightning claws. Any veterans can have a storm shield. Any number of models can have their bolt pistol replaced with plasma pistols. Any number of veterans can have their bolt gun replaced with a bunch of different stuff, actually. Multi-melters? Oh, alright. This is getting out of hand now. I mean, could there be a situation where you actually want Tycho to lead a command squad and it's actually not dog shit? I had Vanguard veterans up. Someone in chat tell me, so are we rating Tycho? Someone's saying he's 7.5 out of 10, someone is saying 8.5 out of 10. Unworthy's saying that he's 10 out of 10, he's the best data sheet here. Toby says he's 9 out of 10 for the legend that is Tycho. The auto sensor is going mad. Yeah, I'm swearing too much. Sorry. 250. I've never broke 200 concurrent people watching the stream before. Thank you so much for that. I do still have the Trivial Per Shot says he has the old metal honor guard. Can I play them again? I guess I'm gonna have to make a video on like Tycho leading a squad. Could actually be pretty useful. I'm so confused. Like, why is Tycho being given... Well, I mean, Tycho hasn't been played. Maybe this is his last hurrah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like an Arcs of Omen season. Tycho is legitimately great. And you could have rapid fire multi-meltas. But I was going to say rapid fire 1 would replace like heavy 2, so maybe there's no real advantage there. Okay, let's move on. So people generally think Tycho is okay. Wait till you get to Lost version. All right, let's check out Mephi. All right, Mephiston still moves 7, toughness 5, 2-up save, 6 wounds. He always had 6 wounds, right? I just want to... I feel like it's been a little while. It's funny because I played Mephiston a lot in 9th edition. Alright, so let's start over here. While this model is leading a unit models in that unit have the fight first ability. Man, we're going to be able to have so much fight first. This is actually what I wanted for Mephiston, because Speed of the Primarch was in 9th edition was useless. It was absolutely useless. The Quickening, this is going to be brilliant. Depending on who he can lead, I'm just going to look at who he can lead now. He can lead Sternguard Intercessors or Assault Intercessors. Oh, that's disappointing. He can't lead Blade Guard. And Sternguard obviously just got objectively worse in melee. So Mephiston with an Assault Intercessor squad could actually be pretty good. I mean, there's going to be a lot of ways for us to have fight first. So we have a lot of ways to get fight first. We have a lot of ways to get fight on death. And we also have ways to get fallback and charge. All these things at the moment are looking pretty interesting. While he's leading a unit, that unit obviously has a 4-up ability for Feel No Pain against psychic attacks, which is the same as basically all the other psychers. I guess that's really what, like, denies have been rolled into. Rapid Fire would be in addition to it being heavy, Mark says. Well, then that's cool, Mark. I didn't even realize that would be... It would add it. I'm going to need you to jump on a stream, Mark, with me at some... Well, we're covering... If anyone didn't see... I'll put a link, because there's 250-something people watching right now. We have a podcast on YouTube. The URL for it is the 3 Grots. And this week on the 3 Grots, we are doing... We'll be covering all this in detail. We'll be taking questions from the community. If anyone's not subscribed to our 3 Grots podcast, this is what it looks like. Please do that, because there's so much to break down with the new rules. I only have like an hour or so just now. David, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate it. But I'll be breaking everything down. Blood Angels, Space Marines, all the chapters. So while I focus on Blood Angel stuff primarily, on BAC, on the 3 Grots, we'll be covering all the factions.
David
so if that's something you're interested in...
£10 via Super Chat. HYYYYYYYP.
So yeah, if you want to follow us, and we'll be covering a lot of stuff on how to fight these other armies as well. Okay, so Transfix and Gaze. At the start of the fight page, you can select one enemy unit with an engagement range of the Psyker unit and roll a d6. On a 1, the Psyker model suffers d3 mortal wounds. Okay, not great. On a 2 to 5, until the end of the phase, worsen the weapon skill characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that enemy unit by 1. And on a 6, until the end of the phase, worsen the weapon skill of the attacks and the attacks characteristics of 1. Okay, so Mephiston, when he's in combat, he objectively makes your enemy quite a bit weaker. Most of the time, so I would say, what is that, like 66% of the time, the enemy lose 1 weapon skill, 18% of the time they lose a weapon skill and an attack, and then 1% of the time, or the last whatever it is, 16-18% of the time, you take a mortal wound, or d3 mortal wounds. He has a 5-up against mortal wounds still, so that's not the end of the world. And Mephiston got an invulnerable save. Hallelujah! Thank you, James Workshop. I have been crying out for Mephiston to get an invulnerable save. I love it. Okay, cool. People are pointing out that he can't fly anymore. I mean, solo characters flying about feels like, with all the characters attaching to units now, I feel like that's what you're doing. Maybe there is some characters, like a captain on a bike, throwing him in as a missile, a smash captain throwing him in as a missile. For the most part, though, I feel like characters buffing units is key. And I think, like, I often don't go for 10-man squads, but I honestly could see myself going for a 10-man Assault Intercessor squad, shitloads of chain swords, a Thunderhammer or something, and that unit's going to fight first. That's really strong. Like that, I mean, like, the enemy has to be really confident to charge that unit, right? 5++ is worse than the 5+++. He's got both. He's got a 5-up invulnerable save, and he's got a 5-up feel no pain, Mike. He had no invulnerable save before, which I think was a big weakness of his. So giving him an invulnerable save is good. It means if he's ever like at the end of the game, when everything's strung out and he's hit by a bloodthirster of Khorne or something, he can still make saves. I like that. I wish you could join the new Terminators. Yeah, it would be nice if it was a little bit less restriction. The Sternguard are a really interesting choice, because the Sternguard are not a melee unit. Intercessors are arguably not a melee unit, so your only choice is Assault Intercessors. I never really looked at Assault Intercessors in the core rules yet. I guess I probably just didn't expect to really want to play them, even though I have a bunch of Assault Intercessors. What do they actually get? Each time a model in this unit targets an enemy with a melee attack, reroll wounds of 1. If the enemy unit is in the range of a danger marker, you can reroll all the wounds instead. So, I mean, they got 4 chainsword attacks. So yeah, I mean, 10 guys, 50 chainswords, rerolling 1s on wounds, and fighting first. I mean, like, it's kind of unchargeable, right? Like, if they charge you, you're going to hit them with 50 chainswords. And then, of course, Vitarius keeps the psychic keyword. It is now 6 attacks and strength 9, so I guess when you charge it's 7 attacks and strength 10. It's still got 3 AP, it's got D3 damage. So we did complain a lot that Vitarius was a D3 damage weapon. I guess nothing really changed there. Number of attacks sort of stayed the same. Okay, let's look at his range attack. So we know he's got a plasma pistol. I guess he can fire it on high power now because he's not going to kill himself. Nothing special about his plasma pistol. His psychic is basically Fury of the Ancients, which is like a version of Smite. So you can do 3 attacks, 2 up ballistic skill, 4 minus 1 d3 damage, or he can do the Focus Witchfire, which is hazardous, strength 5 minus 2 d3 damage as well, same 3 attacks, but it sustained hits 3. Interesting. Okay, so on a 6 to hit, Fury of the Ancient is going to do 3 additional hits. That's a bit risky, but again, he does have a 5 up Feel No Pain, so maybe it's worth doing that hazardous attack every turn. So if you do the 3 attacks, hit on 2s, let's say you roll 1 6 to hit, potentially you get like 6 strength 5 minus 2, 3 damage. And also, it's specifically called out as pistol, which means I guess you can use it when you're in combat as well. Steel Rain, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. You legend. I do really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Nice to see. I'm so excited you're coming back to play 10th edition as well. We're going to see in a minute. We're almost at Sangreguard, Steel Rain. We're going to see in a minute. Juan says Mephiston is decent now. Alright, out of 10, what do people think of Mephiston? Just do it before, like a number dash 10. What do we think of Mephiston's new profile?
Steel Rain SG donated $50 via Super Chat. Since you're finally streaming when I'm not working, here's a contribution to your Leviathan.
Thank you so much, Steel Rain. I appreciate that. I think... Oh, right, so if you do Transfix and Gaze on the enemy, although you take D3 mortal wounds on a 1, you get to save them on 4s, because technically it's got the Psychic keyword, is that right? Mephiston is ranging from 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, someone said 5 out of 10. Sir Lewis said 5 out of 10, and the highest, Gitley says it's 5 out of 10 because he can only lead certain units. Mike said 9 out of 10, that's the highest, so sort of, Mephiston's probably averaging 7, 7.5. People would have liked him to lead Blade Guard. I would have thought it would have made sense for him to lead Blade Guard because he was on like the same size base, and that would have made sense to me. But Judiciars can lead Blade Guard, so let's say you have 2 Judiciars leading Blade Guard and you have Mephiston leading Assault Intercessors, then you have 3 fights first units. So if the enemy charges you on any of those units, you're fighting before they fight, even though they charged you. And I think that's big. I think that's what Mephiston needed. Like, I think him being able to fight first, when charged, with Vitarius, is generally pretty scary. If he'd had that last edition, I think Mephiston would have got a lot more play. Mortal wounds from failing a psychic power do not have the psychic keyword. Okay, good to know. Thank you for the clarification, Mark. I appreciate that. Okay, so you would still 5 up, feel no pain against the mortals if you took them yourself. Overall, I think Mephiston is good. So I played Mephiston a lot. I guess he lost his best power, arguably, which was Unleash Rage. But I ran Mephiston to multiple tournaments in 9th. For me, he wasn't a jump forward and kill everything sort of character anyway. Because usually when you do that, you just leave them so exposed. It is a bit weird that he lost his wings, considering in the books and the stories he always has wings. But I think it's good that you can join a unit and the unit can fight first. I think that is good for us. Okay, Commander Dante, cool. I hated his, just disclaimer, I hated his 9th edition rules, so let's hope his 10th edition rules are better. He moves 12, toughness 4, 2 up save, 6 wounds. So he lost a wound, because he was 7 wounds in 9th edition. So he lost a wound, still has a 4 up invuln. While this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the charge rolls made for that unit, and each time the model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So +1 to hit, +1 to charge, if Dante is leading the unit. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of the model must take a battle shot test, subtracting 1 from that test when they do. I like that a lot, actually. And I like the fact that there's no stupid like restrictions on vehicles, monsters, like we've had on a bunch of other rules further up the edition. So basically, Dante is going to make you battle shock at -1. Doesn't matter if you're a Bloodthirster or a Khorne. Dante's fucking Dante, and he will scare you into battle shock, right? Dante's pistol lost range. It got sustained hits D3. That's random. It's melt to 2, 2 up ballistic skill, strength 8, -4 d6 damage. So it's not great because it's one shot, and they lowered its range. I really dislike they lowered its range. It's just an infernal pistol. Sustained hits D3 is also pretty random. I'm okay with this pistol. It's for me. It's just an infernal pistol with like, I don't know. Once every few games, it's maybe going to do 2 hits. It seems pretty random. His melee weapon is 8 attacks, so that'd be 9 attacks on the charge. It's strength 7, that would be strength 8 on the charge, and his AP -3, 2 damage. They kept his damage at 2 on his axe. They gave it lethal hits. So maybe he's... I feel like his wounding is going to be pretty decent. Like, he's going to be strength 8. There's strats you can play to make his wounding better. Just 2 damage on his weapon is okay. I mean, sorry, and who can Dante join? He can join assault squads with jump packs, he can join the Sangray Guard, or he can join Vanguard veterans with jump packs. I think 100% he's going to be joining some Sangard. That's going to give them +1 to their charge, and it's going to give them +1 to their hit roll. Does anyone think they're going to have Dante joining anybody else? And what do people think of Dante overall? Are you happy with that? Is that going to be good enough for Dante? I think the battle shock rule is the most interesting part of it. I think the pistol is take it or leave it, same as it was before. You're not gonna get much value out of the pistol. You'll get some, but nothing. Nico says he's 9 out of 10 because he's now spooky. I love that they didn't put any restrictions in the deathmatch thing. I thought it was going to be like he could scare infantry models, and I was going to be like, oh, horrible. Foz is very negative today. He's saying it's 6.5 again. CJ Williams saying it's 6. A few people coming in 8. 8. Okay, so Dante's a bit of more of a mixed bag. Somewhere between 7 and 8 out of 10 people think. The melee weapon being just 2 damage. But I mean, he's 9 attacks. And think about this. He can fall back and charge now. And hold on. While this model is leading unit, add 1 to the charge rolls made for that unit. And each time this model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So he potentially, like, he's making Sangray Guard. I guess we'll see Sangray Guard in a minute. More people saying 8 out of 10. Someone, Dutster, said 9 out of 10 because he helps out the Sangray Guard. If he's decently pointed, I'll actually run Sanguinary Guard, says Chrono saying. I'm excited to play the new Dante. I think he looks cool. I think I disliked his rules in 9th. I think for me this is better, based on the fact that like we've seen that like a lot of rerolls and wound rolls and stuff have gone away. But I mean, we're still gonna have Oath of Moment. So a Sanguinary Guard unit with Oath of Moment with Dante could actually be kind of crazy. There's a bit of overlap with the Red Rampage. There is a bit of overlap with Red Rampage, but okay. Dante's sort of an 8 out of 10. The Death Company Dreadnought. Movement 8. I think this is I'm pretty sure the Death Company Dreadnought used to move 6. So thank God they made him not stupidly slow anymore. Death Company Dreadnought did get 2-inch buffed his movement. He's now toughness 9 up from 7. He's still on wounds 8. And he is objective control 3. So apparently a Death Company Dreadnought does control objectives. We obviously know he used to be able to take... So he can take like 2 Heavy Flamers, 2 Melta Guns, or 2 Stormbolters, I think. They are very much similar to what they were before. His Blood Talons are now twin-linked. And his Furioso Fists are also twin-linked. But for being twin-linked, these things sure get a lot of attacks. You're going to get 8 attacks on the charge with the Blood Talons. Strength 9 minus 2/3 damage. Or you're going to get 6 attacks on the Fists. Strength 12 minus 3/3 damage. So I think for me... I think, based on the fact they usually charge you more points for the Blood Talons, the Fists might actually be more interesting just because on the charge they're going to be Strength 13. And Strength 13 is probably going to mean wounding enemy armor on like 3s. Like, you know, Toughness 12 armor will wound on 3s and we're twin-linked, which means we're re-rolling our wounds. There is a lot of ways we can get +1 to hit as well. Like, so we can potentially hit on 2s, wound enemy armor on 3s re-rolling. So this is interesting. Death Company Dreadnought. Let's see what its abilities are. Each time this model makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit. Okay, we can do that as well. While this model is not within 12 inches of one or more chaplain, it cannot be selected to fall back, and its objective control is 0. Okay, so it only has OZ3 if it's near a chaplain, which would make sense. Otherwise, it just doesn't control objectives. It just runs in, it kills shit. That's what it's always done, right? It also has a Feel No Pain of 6. Which is nice. It used to have this Feel No Pain of 6 as well, right? Each time that enemy units target this model, after that unit is finished making attacks, this model can either shoot as if it was your shooting phase, or fight as if it was your fight phase. Okay, that's interesting. Each time enemy unit attacks this model. We need an FAQ on this. Someone, Mark, you were in the chat. If the enemy... So I charge the enemy. JT Money, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know if I've actually got a tracking number for my Dante. Don't mess with me. I don't even know if my Dante has been dispatched yet. Despite... In 3 days, it'll be 2 months ago I ordered it. Does Tank Shock work with walkers? Yes, Tank Shock works off the vehicle keyword. So you are able to Tank Shock with a Dreadnought. 100%. So if I charge you and fight, kill a bunch of your models, if you fight back, don't kill me, I can fight again as if it were my fight phase? Because normally those rules say like you can fight if you've not already fought. This doesn't say that. So does that mean I either need an FAQ or I need someone someone who's more up on the current... I have read the new rules once, but I'm old and I'm tired and I'm always distracted by my kids, so I need to read the rules a few more times to get, and I need to probably play a few games to get used to it. We're going to do a live stream the day that 10th edition launches. We're just going to play games all day. We're going to figure out all the rules. Foz says that's how I read it. Yeah, that's how I read it. So like if the Death Company Dreadnought charges your squad of guys, kills 4 of them, you fight back with your 1 guy, then I will fight again and kill your last guy. So Frenzied Reprisal sounds pretty cool. It also has a Magno Grapple. If the bearer loses the smoke keyword... What? We've got the smoke keyword. The bearer loses the smoke keyword, but adds 2 to charge rolls made for the bearer if 1 or more of the targets of the charge is a monster or vehicle. This is so fucking good. This is huge. We used to have Magna Grapple. This was what Magna Grapple used to be. It only used to affect vehicles though, right? It used to be if you charge vehicles, you got +2 to charge. This is huge because now you reserve your Death Company Dreadnoughts and you give them the Magna Grapple. That means they come in from strategic reserve. They only need to make a 7 on your charge roll. So, I was going to say, I haven't used any dice in ages, actually. Any dice. If you've never used any dice, this is a site. You'll see it on my streams. It doesn't restrict how many times he fights. Thanks, Steel Rain. That's what I think. So, any dice lets you do fancy things. One of the things I like to do is percentages. So if I click here, if I roll 2d6, the chance of a 7 is 58%. So I actually already know that like the inverse of 58 is like 41, and then you times that again by 58, and you add that to your original 58.33. So Death Company Dreadnoughts coming in from with a reroll charge have an 82% chance of charging. So like if you have a couple of these guys, the chance of you getting the charges off is fairly high now. Magna Grapple was really good, and then in 9th edition they made it rubbish. If you never played with Magna Grapple before, I think in 8th edition it stacked with your Blood Angels +1, so you actually just needed to make a 6-inch charge, but you could only charge in against vehicles. I think it was in 8th edition. So now you'll be able to charge in against monsters and vehicles on a 7 from reserve. And these things look tasty. This is a lot of attacks. I would take the twin-linked Furioso Fists. And also, I mean, you can put a couple of melta guns on here. I like to always put a couple of heavy flamers on here before, because I felt like if you're getting charged, you don't want to get bogged down. You want to flame the enemy off you and then make another charge. But now you can fall back and charge as well. So, Death Company Dreadnoughts look pretty tasty. Anyone want to give a Death Company... And they've got more movement. They got more toughness. They can actually objective control shit now. They obviously lost -1 damage, but a lot of Dreadnoughts lost -1 damage. They can take... so what does it come with, sorry? It comes with a Meltagun and a Stormbolter and the Twin Fists. You can replace the Stormbolter with a Heavy Flamer, you can replace the Meltagun with a Heavy Flamer, and you can add the Grapple, or you can take the Blood Talons. I do think the Fists are probably going to be cheaper again. It's strange, they keep making the Blood Talons more expensive. The reason the Blood Talons used to be more expensive were because they used to get to reroll wounds and the Fists didn't. But now the Fists are twin-linked, and you're going to be Strength 13 on the charge, and you're doing 3 damage. You got 2-up save on the Death Company Dreadnought as well. 8.5 out of 10 from Foz. Foz has finally found a unit that he likes. Everybody else is saying 9 out of 10 except Albin, who says 7.5. Steel Rain's a 10 out of 10. So Death Company Dreadnought is probably the unit people like the most so far. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think I would reserve 2 of them for just going after those nasty monsters or vehicles with a twin-linked Furioso Fists. And each time you make an attack, you can reroll your hits. So you're rerolling hits, you're rerolling wounds, and then if the enemy fights back, you get a fight again. So if the enemy cannot kill your 8 wounds at toughness 9 on a 2-up save, you get a fight again. And you're going to get +2 to your charges against monsters or vehicles. I think... I'm going to... Steel Rain, thank you for the donation to Leviathan. Will you be upset if I buy another Death Company Dreadnought? Okay, next up. Death Company Intercessors. We've seen these guys before. Distraction Carnifexes, 8.5 out of 10, yeah. We saw these guys before. What's cool about them is they still have their 6-up Feel No Pain. Each time this model makes an attack, you can reroll a hit if you can reroll hits. If you're in with 12 of the Chaplain, obviously you get some objective control, otherwise you get none. You can fire Overwatch or do Heroic Intervention for 0 CP. I don't run that many Death Company Intercessors. Weapon options, we didn't see this before, so it's 5 to 10 models. If a Chaplain model for your army with the leader ability can be attached to an Intercessor squad, it can also be attached to this squad instead. Interesting. So you could have a Chaplain attached to the Death Company Intercessors, I was going to say like a Primaris Chaplain. I don't remember what a Primaris Chaplain's buff is. So his buff is when he's leading a unit, it gets +1 to their wound roll, and also he can remove battle shock. So you could have a Primaris Chaplain join the Death Company Intercessors. All models this unit can have their bolt, pistol, and rifle replaced with a heavy bolt pistol and chainswords. You can have 10 guys all with chainswords. One model can have a hand flame or a plasma. For every 5, you can have a grenade launcher, and you can have 1 power fist, power weapon, thunderhammers. This is a shitty restriction to have on the Primaris Intercessors, but I guess, so you could have 9 guys with chainswords, you could have 1 guy with a thunderhammer, and they could be joined with a chaplain for +1 to wound. They can obviously heroic intervene. I think the heroic intervention sounds more exciting than the fire overwatch, but I mean, I guess if you did do like a bunch of bolt rifles, they are attacks too, it'd be 20 overwatch shots. It's maybe not the end of the world. Death Company Intercessors for me, I'm going to skip over these guys. I don't know many people that run them, unless there's a huge reason. It sounds like they can only be attached to a chaplain. Unless there's anyone who wants to say anything really exciting about Death Company Intercessors, we'll just move on past them. For me, I think their weapon options feel very restrictive compared to Firstborn Death Company, which I assume we're going to see next, and I assume they're going to still have good weapon options. Kevin says Death Company Intercessors are going to pop off when they finally announce Primaris jump packs. How many chainsword attacks do these guys get? They get... So on the charge, it's 5 chainsword attacks, and they would get +1 to wound. So they're good at blending infantry, potentially, if you attach a chaplain to them. CJ Williams says they're absolute trash. Carl, good afternoon. We just broke 300 concurrent viewers. That's crazy, guys. Hello, thank you for tuning in. CJ says Death Company Intercessors are 2 out of 10. Please remember to like this stream at some point. Okay, Death Company Marines. This is what we are interested in. Let's see what they get. So, each time they make an attack, we can reroll hits. This is going to be kind of huge if we can still fill the squad with Thunderhammers. One of the biggest weaknesses of these guys was when you don't make a charge and you don't get your plus attacks and you don't have any characters left, only hitting with Thunderhammers on 4 was like their giant weakness. So this is huge. This actually... The Black Rage takes them from a 50% chance of hitting to a 75% chance of hitting, which is pretty big if you ask me. Again, if they're within 12 inches of Chaplain, they can fall back and they can get objective control. If they're not within the range of Chaplains, they can't fall back. Typically, we don't fall back all that often with Death Company, but I mean, there is that tasty strat now where we can fall back and charge. Get additional strength, additional attacks when you charge, so that's interesting. An honourable death in combat. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, the attack is sustained hits 1 ability if this unit is below starting strength, or sustained hits 2 if this unit is below half strength. Okay. 10 Thunderhammer Death Company actually sounds pretty interesting now. So you lose 1 guy, and every 6 to hit is an additional hit. You're re-rolling all your hits. And if you go below half strength, then every 6 to hit is 2 additional hits. Firstborn Death Company, yes, they can't heroic intervene for free, but there is a heroic intervene strat in the core rules. So I like this. All right, what else do we know? Feel no pain 6. 3 up save, 2 wounds. Weapon options. Let's have a look at weapon options. They can also be attached by any chaplain that can be attached to a tactical squad. So we'll check that in a second. Any number of models can have their bolt gun and close combat weapon replaced with the chainsword and bolt pistol or a thunderhammer. Any number of models can have their bolt pistol replaced with a hand flamer, infernal pistol, or plasma pistol. Any number of models can have their chainsword. So we've got all the weapon options we had before. You can have the squad of 10 guys with thunderhammers. You can have the squad of 10 guys with infernal pistols, and I guess they're called power weapons now, but they are essentially power swords or power axes. On the charge, the power weapons are going to get 5 attacks at strength 6. The thunderhammers are going to get 4 attacks at strength 9. Obviously, the Thunderhammers now have devastating wounds. Let's have a look at Firstborn Chaplains real quick. So any chaplain that can attach to a tactical squad is what it said. What chaplain can attach to a tactical squad? Maybe just the default chaplain, or maybe it's the chaplain with a jump pack. So it's a... Oh, okay. So you can't attach a chaplain with a jump pack to them. That's a little bit sad. So the only chaplain... You can only really attach a chaplain to them if they're not... If they don't have jump... If they... I was going to say, if they don't have a jump pack, unless Lamartes can attach... I assume Lamartes can attach to them. We'll check that in a minute. Sustained hits after losing models seems really good. And rerolling all the hits as well seems really good. If we think about it, right? Assuming your Death Company have, like, no buffs, right? You're a couple of turns into the game. In 9th edition, a Death Company Marine had, what, 2 attacks? 3 from the Black Rage when you charge, and 2 more from, like, Savage Echo. So you get 5 attacks before, but you hit on 4s, which averages 2.5 hits. Now on the charge, you get 4 attacks, but you hit 75% of the time. So you actually average 3 hits. So although you have less attacks here on the Thunderhammer profile, you actually average more hits. And then you have the potential to get Sustained Hits 1 or Sustained Hits 2. I like that a lot, actually. Death Company Marines with Thunderhammers seem pretty interesting. What are you saying in chat? Plasma pistols will be good for tactical suicide? I think oh, they nerfed the damage on Infernal Pistols to D3, huh? Didn't notice that before. So they still get the +2 damage within half range, but you've lost one. You've lost potentially. You've lost a decent amount of damage on Infernal Pistols. Okay. Oh, these are Death Company Marines. Death Company with jump packs to the next card. God damn it. So this is just Death Company that could be attached by... So this would be Death Company out of a Rhino or something. It's strange that they have the jump packs as a second profile. My bad. Okay. Death Company coming out of a Rhino. Sustained hits 1, sustained hits 2. A chaplain can be attached for +1 to wound. So strength 9 Thunderhammers with +1 to wound is a potential here. I was going to say there is also the strat to get +1 to wound as well, right? So strength 9 hammers +1 to wound. Death Company with jump packs, you can reroll charges. Okay, so Death Company with jump packs, they lose sustained hits, but you can reroll charges. Okay, but statistically what I was saying was still valid, right? So 4 attacks, hitting 75% of the time, means objectively these guys hit more reliably, or they make more hits more reliably than their 9th edition counterparts if we don't have any buffs. I think that's correct. Why not go with plasma pistols and power swords? I mean, you could. I just always like infernal pistols. I feel like you're in close with the Death Company, and if you get those infernal pistols into half range, they do a lot of damage. Plasma is probably quite a bit better now, based on like that strength 8 isn't as killer as it used to be against armor, but overcharge the plasma pistols, lose 1 guy and get sustained hits. That could be worth it, actually. Yes, okay. Yeah, why not? Long live the Death Company Lieutenant. I guess, I don't know if we're going to get a Death Company Lieutenant. Disembark from a Land Raider, fire off some plasma shots, try to get 1 killed, and then charge. That's cool as well. I do like reroll charges on a Death Company with jump packs, though. Blood Angels live and die on the fact that we make our charges, right? And being able to just reroll charges on every Death Company unit with a jump pack is actually kind of big. So I think you could probably still run the Hammer Death Company. I think you could probably still run the Infernal Pistol Power Weapon Death Company. They can be attached with a chaplain who can attach to assault squads. I have to go back a minute. So Astaroth can't attach to that Death Company, or he can? Oh, so Astaroth can attach to them, right? And if Astaroth attaches to the Death Company with a jump pack, on a 4-up, you get to fight on death with each model. And once per battle, when the unit makes a charge move, you can get devastating wounds. So you could take devastating wounds on your power swords. you probably want to, like, if Astaroth's in the unit, you probably just want to blow that in turn 1. The second you charge in turn 1, be it Power Fists, be it Power Swords, you just blow Astaroth's power and do a bunch of mortal wounds when the Death Company charge. And you can reroll all your hits. Reroll all your hits is good on Thunderhammers, but it's actually really good on Infernal Pistols, and also really good on... I guess that's why they lowered the damage on Infernal Pistols. It's really good on Infernal Pistols, and it's actually really good on power weapons as well. Because you get a lot of attacks with power weapons. Like, 5 guys is 25 attacks. So, rerolling all those hits, I feel like it's really good. Jack Harpster's going crazy over Sangreguard. Well, we're going to get Sangreguard in a few minutes. Okay, let's do Death Company Marines with jump packs out of 10. What do people think? Based on comparison, I guess, last edition. So, Infernal Pistols lost some damage. Thunderhammers lost a point of damage, but potentially got devastating wounds. Astaroth can attach to the squad to give the whole squad devastating wounds, and a 4-up fight on death for individual models. They still have their 6-up feel no pain. I guess they have the advantage of they could Armor of Contempt now. Death Company, when they had Armor of Contempt, were pretty good, actually. And then you get the free reroll charge for every Death Company unit with jump packs. 9 out of 10s are coming in. 4 or 5 people 9 out of 10 so far. Have you considered threat range of jump pack units charging out of Land Raider yet? Yeah, so I mean, a Redeemer could take, like, what, 7 Death Company, and Astaroth, they move out 3, or they disembark within 3, then they move forward 12, and then they charge with rerolls. I suppose the interesting thing about this, Berserker's Fury now, is if Astaroth is with them, you don't have to worry about, oh, the Death Company made their charge, but Astaroth didn't. Astaroth's in the unit, so the unit is rerolling the charges. A bunch of people coming in at 8 out of 10. Someone said if you attach Astaroth to them, they're 12 out of 10. That came in from Raiku. I think people love Death Company with jump packs. Okay, and what about Death Company without jump packs? Because they seem pretty good with the sustained hits. I think, like, if we think about this before, like in 9th edition, no one ran Death Company without jump packs. Would anyone run Death Company without jump packs now out of a Rhino? Is that something that this is, or maybe from Reserve? Does anyone like this? Or we just love Death Company with jump packs all too much. The cool thing, I suppose, about it being 2 different data sheets is you could run 3 squads of Death Company with jump packs, 3 squads of Death Company without jump packs, 3 Death Company dreadnoughts. So, like, it feels like if you know, like, having a Death Company army before, you kind of had to, like, you know, you never really got there, but now you could have 3 squads of regular Death Company, 3 squads of Death Company with jump packs, 3 squads of Death Company intercessors, 3 Death Company dreadnoughts. Someone says 9 out of 10 out of a Land Raider. They don't like the Rhino. Sir Lewis says 4 out of 10 with no jump pack. Okay, I thought sustained hits from losing models from the non-jump pack ones actually sounded pretty strong. Just because you can reroll all your hits. So, like, if you just wanted to take, like, a blending chainswordy unit that's nice and cheap, probably no war gear cost. Alright, fine, let's move on. Furioso Dreadnoughts next. Yeah, I'm tempted by Death Company with no jump packs now. I have about 50 models with jump packs and have none without, but it's tempting. Alright, Furioso Dreadnoughts. Let's see what changed with the Furioso Dreadnought. So the Furioso Dreadnought used to just move 6. They kept it at 6. Why? Tell me why. Why is this guy so slow? They give him toughness 9 and 8 wounds and objective control 3. Each time this model is selected to fight, you can select 1 enemy unit with an engagement range, roll a d6, adding 2 to the result if the model made a charge move. On a 4 to 5, the enemy suffers d3. On a 6+, the enemy suffers mortal wounds. So, if you use this in conjunction with Tank Shock, I guess when the Furioso Dreadnought makes a charge, and again, he still has the potential to take the Magnum Grapple and get those +2 to those sweet 7-inch charges. I think it's slightly weaker than the Death Company Dreadnought, but that's potentially like 9 mortal wounds on the charge. So this guy can do a bunch of mortals on the charge. He can also take the Blood Talons, he can take the Fist, he can take the Twinland Fist, or he can take a heavy frag cannon. Let's see if that's any good now. 6 attacks, blast, rapid fire D6. Rapid fire D6. This codex is this has thrown me today. There's just some random things in here. They're like, what? Rapid fire D6? Okay. Strength 7 -1, 2 damage. So this is literally so it's D6 attacks, but it's also rapid fire D6. So I actually don't know how you work that out. You roll your D6 attacks and get a 4, and then roll your rapid fire and get a 4 as well, and then all of a sudden you have 4 attacks, rapid fire 4? Is that how that works? That's swingier than a Vindicator last edition. If that's right, then there might actually be some play around the heavy frag cannon. Wow. You can have a Meltagun, obviously. You can have a Flamer. You can have a Stormbolter. He can have the same number of attacks with the Blood Talons, the same number of attacks as the Death Company Dreadnought with the Fists. He's obviously got no rerolls to hit like the Death Company Dreadnought. But he can get +2 to his charge against vehicles. So it's 2d6 total attacks if you're in half range. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I was going to say the frag cannon before was heavy 2d3. So I guess objectively the frag cannon is quite a bit better. Same 18-inch range. For me, I feel like if I was going to run a Furioso, I don't think I will, but I think if I was going to run one, I'd probably run the first impression, say frag cannon plus fist, because the thing about the fist is you're already strength 13 when you charge. So rerolls to wound, while they will be helpful, I think you're probably better taking like some sort of gun. You have D6 attacks normally and an additional D6 within half range. "325 people watching. Congratulations," says Mercenary Q. Thank you, dude. Thanks for tuning in. It's an exciting time. At the moment, this codex has surprised me. I think it's been better than I expected. I guess there's a little bit to go. And I'm sure I'm going to make loads more videos where we break things down individually. And what I'll do is at the end of the stream, if anyone wants to book comments for like the videos that they want to see first in 10th edition, because I'm going to continue all the way through 9th edition. I don't think I missed a week. Every Friday we did a video on an individual unit or comparing 2 units together or mathing out a unit. We'll do that all the way through 10th edition. So if you want to see a specific video, if you want to know objectively, hey, in this situation, is it better to take this or that? Leave me a comment and we'll get all those videos made, right? I think, yeah, I mean, I guess the slowness of the Furioso Dreadnought probably puts me off. All right, out of 10, what do people think of the Furioso Dreadnought? First opinions. The other thing to consider about Blast is, yes, Roaring Oblivious has said in chat that you've got to remember if for every 5 models in the unit, you get an additional attack with Blast. So yeah, if you're going to be in close with this guy, you're going to want to be in close because of his Magna Grapple, because of his mortals on the fight phase, then the Frag Cannon is going to potentially get more attacks because it's Blast. And our stratagem that let us fall back, which one was it? Relentless Assault. At the end of the turn, you're eligible to declare a charge even though you fell back. Okay, so you can't fall back and shoot, but you can fall back and charge again, which I think is really good. So you, hey, thank you so much for subscribing, Wilfred. You could fall back, and then you could charge again. You could use Tank Shock again to do a bunch of mortal wounds from your Strength 13 fist, or Strength 12 fist, sorry. You work out Tank Shock before you add the +1 strength. So you could fall back, you could charge for Tank Shock, then you could do another potential D3 mortal wounds or 3 mortal wounds. So this guy's actually not bad. The problem with him is going to be his slowness. But the frag cannon looks okay. The fist looks okay. A few people saying 5s out of 10. I think that's maybe a little bit harsh. Maybe it's just the 6-inch move that's the problem. I think you would have to start him off the board, probably. If you fall back and charge and do the double mortal wound, says Mike. Yeah, exactly. So any of our dreadnoughts that can charge, we can do a lot of mortal wounds with them. All right, Gabriel Seth. We looked at Seth briefly last week. He has very similar profile to Huzzy before. He can now declare a charge in a turn which he advanced, and for every 5 models within 6, he's going to get additional attack. He does just count as a Blood Angel now. So if you take him, although he's a Flesh Tearer, his faction keyword is actually Blood Angel. So like, and if you take him, I think, if I remember correctly, you're not able to take any other Blood Angels epic heroes. So if you run him, you are Blood Angels, but you're not, sort of. You just can't take any of our other named characters. His Blood Reaver is pretty good in that it's still kept 3 damage. He gets a bunch of attacks, and he can advance and charge. I still think advance and charge is weaker than just having a jump pack. So I think for Flesh Tearers, that's okay. It's better than it was. I played Flesh Tearers once 9th edition, and my big problem was I felt Seth was too slow. So maybe this helps a little bit. Sir Gilius says, I think, poor Flesh Tearers. I call this index a Flesh Tearers index. Death Company units are much stronger than every other unit. Guess they really wanted to sell the Blood Angels Codex later, says Sir Julius. Okay, what do people think of Seth? Do people like the new Seth rules? Bearing in mind, I guess he lost the ability to fight twice, so he's down. He is down a bunch of attacks. Like, he used to fight twice, and I think his base attacks before was, I think it was 5. I have it here. Seth's base attacks before was 5 and he fought twice. And then he could get additional attacks for models within 6. And he also had an aura that gave friendly Flesh Tearers bonus damage as well. So I think Seth is quite a bit weaker than he was. Maybe Advance and Charge helped him. What do we think out of 10 for Seth? Do people like him? Any Flesh Tearers players going to play him? William says he's a big blender. Run him out of a Land Raider with an Assault Squad. What does he attach to? Yes, Assault. I think Assault Squads. I'm surprised. Can he not? So he can't attach to Death Company Squad. That's fair enough. They also. What happened to Company Veterans? Are Company Veterans still a thing? Like, I've been working on this. I've been working on a video. Like, I was working on, like, when this stuff got announced, I was working on a video from the regular. So Company Veterans only now exist as part of a command squad. You can't run Company Veterans anymore. Okay, interesting. He can attach to the command squad. So I don't know if a command squad is going to be good. It's just been so long since I played this command squad. I don't know. Snow says 0 out of 10. I'll never run him over the other Blood Angels characters. Nucking thinks he's a 6 out of 10. Forrest thinks he's a 6 out of 10 only because you can't take the other Blood Angels characters. So people don't like Seth all that much. Nathan points out that in a command squad, the company champion gives +1 to advance and charge, but you can only include 2 company veterans. Yeah, the command squad to me seems like a strange choice. I actually just was reading it. I was almost down to here before I went live on the stream, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, I suppose the cool thing about the command squad is you can revive a model every turn, but it can't be the characters, right? So you can revive like the company veterans, I think, every turn. It's just been so long since I played a command squad. I kind of forgot they even exist, to be honest. An ancient, a champion, a veteran, and an apothecary, and Seth could be attached. You know, when they talked about making things simpler, I think that's like a squad like this is going to be like every guy has got, like you see here, chainsword, combat weapon, champion's blade. Everything's got different weapon options. These squads are going to be super complex to play on the battlefield. I'm not sure I'm in love with the company command squad. Okay, cool. Let's check Lamartez next. All right, Lamartez. So Lamartez's bonus last edition, I was going to say, was like he used to, his litanies only used to attach to Death Company. They could use his leadership, and you could reroll charges for Death Company that were within 6. Okay, so what does he do now? Toughness 4, he was always lower. Toughness 4 and wounds 4. He always had lower wounds. We know that. He has a bolt pistol, and his Crozius is objectively better, I guess, because now it has lethal hits. It looks like that's sort of a standard thing with some of the Croziuses. So, and he's gained an attack. He used to be 4 attacks. He's now on 5. I guess that's shock assault almost like built in. And then obviously when he charges, he will be strength 7, 6 attacks. While this model is leading unit, each time an attack is allocated to this model in the unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of the attack. Again, no mention about subtracting 1 being limited to 1. So if you get, so rules as written, and I think this might get FAQ'd, -1 damage basically means that you're immune to 1 damage weapons. You just completely ignore them, because 1 damage becomes 0 damage. He can attach to a Death Company Marine squad with jump packs. So if you can attach this guy to 10 Death Company Marines and they are immune to 1 damage weapons, Seraph Song just said it in chat, that is bonkers. Yes, I think that is bonkers. I don't know if that's not going to get FAQ'd. The second thing, Fury Unbound, while this model is leaning unit, melee weapons equipped in this model have lethal hits. So that's auto wounds on 6s. That's right. I think lethal hits. I keep having to check all this lethal hits, sustained hits. I'm gonna get used to it when I actually play. Lethal hits. Each time there's a critical hit, it wounds. So big squad of Death Company with Lamartez. They're immune to 1 damage weapons, and every 6 is an auto wound. So you could just take a thick load of chain swords, or how does that work with Thunderhammers? Because they're devastating wounds. Does a lethal hit proc devastating wounds? I actually don't know that. Oh, and Death Company get full rerolls to hit as well, don't they? Yeah, how does lethal hits interact with devastating? Where's devastating? Devastating. Devastating wounds. Each time an attack is made with such weapon, a critical wound basically becomes mortals. Lethal hits cancels it. It doesn't wound. Okay, alright, so, but still, I mean, it's still going to be good, right? It's still strength 8, it's still minus, well, it's still minus 2 damage. I think that might be okay. Like, if your Thunderhammers are just auto-wounding, it just puts a bunch of extra damage through, right? You lose the devastating wounds. Thanks for the clarification. I still think that's good. Like, if you had 5 guys with Thunderhammers and you've got, like, 25 attacks, you probably hit about 20 times, let's say. Out of those 26... Out of those 20 hits, let's say like 3 or 4 of them are 6s. So straight away before you even wound, you have to wound with like 15 or something. You already have them taking like 5 saves. I think it's not bad. Plus, I guess like it would be really good actually if he attaches to a squad of like power swords, right? Because, or power weapons as they're called now. Because power weapons don't have -1 to hit. And they have pretty low strength now, equivalently. So being able to auto-wound with a bunch of power weapons, that's what they're called now, but power swords. So Lamartez with a power sword Death Company, and then maybe Astrath with a Thunderhammer Death Company. That could be interesting here. Fists are better than hammers 90% of the time. I suppose you could do fists as well. Deny the Witch says Lamartez is a solid 7 out of 10. He needs a Primaris model. Yeah, I hope Lamartez has the Primaris model. I was looking for the Black Rage keyword. He doesn't have it anymore. He just has a 6-up Feel No Pain. He is a leader. There's obviously no War Gear options. You can only attach to the Death Company with jump packs. Alright, out of 10, what do we think for Lamartez? What do people rate him? I think he seems pretty good. I I mean, -1 damage if that sticks. I mean, -1 damage is objectively pretty good on 2-wound Marines anyway, probably. You could Armor of Contempt those Marines as well. Without an FAQ, he's 12 out of 10, says Chris. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're going to FAQ that. The Diablo clan is called Knights of Darkness. I'll put it in the chat. Anyone wants to play Diablo 4 with me? Try and just apply to join the clan. I'll just accept everybody. I haven't played it much. I'm only like level 31 on a druid. Alright, loads of people are liking Lamarta's. The lowest I've seen is an 8 out of 10, but it's overwhelmingly 9 and 10s out of 10. How dare Lamarta's be the best model? Lamarta's was dope last edition when Fury of the Lost was one of our secondaries, where we scored points with the Death Company. Lamarta's was honestly really dope. So I like Lamarta's a lot. I like playing him. I think joining him to a squad of Infernal Pistol / Power Swords looks like the best option now. And hey, he'd not be bad if you run Thunderhammers either, or Power Fists. Someone said Power Fists. My bot might be... I put my moderation bot on last night, Surf Song. I can turn the moderation down again. I was getting some bullshit messages in chat, and maybe it's gone one step too hard. Let me lower the protection of the bot. I'll just upgrade. I'll just save that right now. 1 second. Streamlabs. How do I save this? Maybe I just need to click. Maybe that's it. Okay. Alright, let's move on from Lamarta's. Most people like him. Oh yeah, Black Rage is an ability on the Death Company when a model is in this unit. Oh, interesting. So Lamarta's gets to reroll his hits as well, does he? Each time a model in this unit makes an attack. Oh, I'm not sure about that. I need to check the exact wording. Or someone tell me... if Lamarta's joins that unit, does he get the Black Rage ability? Is that how that works? I guess by joining the unit, though, he is a chaplain, and as such, then your Death Company get objective control and can fall back. And by being able to fall back, they can then advance and charge. You're level 73 already in Diablo? Wow, well done. That's crazy. I think Lamarta's... he's looking second to me. I think the strongest character might be Tycho, but yeah, I think Lamarta's looks pretty good, actually. Okay. Lethal hits on the Power Swords on Death Company might be really good. Lethal hits actually on Chain Swords might be really good as well. We don't see that many Death Company with Chain Swords anymore, but they were really popular for a while. Okay, Librarian Dreadnought. And while we talk about the Librarian Dreadnought, it was worth noting that this character can take in enhancements now. And there was an enhancement that can give a weapon +1 damage, right? So Librarian Dreadnought can have a 4 damage Furioso Fist if he wants, potentially. Okay, Mike says Lamarta's is God. Jumpy Jump Death Company win us games. I mean, they do win us games. We haven't even got to Sangregard. Overall, at the end of the stream, I'm going to ask everyone to rate the Codex out of 10, and we'll see where we stand. Okay, Librarian Dreadnought. You still only move 6. So the Death Company Dreadnought got 2 inches of movement, but the Librarian Dreadnought and the Furioso Dreadnought did not get loved by Games Workshop. They just moved 6. I'm trying to find the old Librarian Dreadnought profile. So he's Toughness 9, 2 up save, 8 wounds. So none of that changed. OC 3. While a friendly Adeptus starter unit is within 6 of this model, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 5-up ability against mortal wounds and psychic. So he basically has an aura of 5-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds and psychic attacks. So it's basically a pseudo Shield of Sanguinius ability. And then, oh, interesting, he kept wings. Okay, what does this do? Once per turn, at the end of your movement phase, select one psyker from your army with this ability, can use it. If it does, roll a d6. On a 1, that psyker suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 2-up, So that's pretty reliable. Select one friendly Adeptus Astartes unit within 12 inches of the Psyker. Remove the selected unit from the battlefield and set up anywhere in the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy models. Interesting. So Wings of Sanguinius means basically he got the jump, like the orc power, da jump for Blood Angels, and you arrive in the same turn. Man, that's cool. I don't know how we're going to use that, but that is cool. I know when orcs use that, that's crazy. So on a 2-up, so 5 out of 6 times, we can just jump a unit anywhere in any turn, as long as they start the once per turn in your movement phase, as long as they're 12 inches of the Psyker. That's I like that a lot, actually. That used to be we used to, upon Wings of Fire, that was a strat we used to, this used to cost us 1 CP every time we did it, and then technically, yeah, someone just said a Terminator squad. You know that this basically gives us an alpha strike. Like, we can have a Terminator squad 9 inches away from the enemy in turn 1. Right? We can just be like, I'm going to deploy my 10 Terminators in cover here behind this building. In turn 1, I'm just going to jump them 9 inches away and just fucking Hail Mary them. Like, it's literally Hail Mary. Turn 1, here's 10 Terminators attached by a Terminator captain so they can reroll their charge. And let's see what happens, you know? As sad as I am that he can't fly now, I think this might be better because we like infantry models. We really do like infantry. I guess my only question is how reliable is a 9-inch charge, and we know that's not reliable. But I mean, you could, I'm sure you could do some janky stuff here where you put like, alright, I got an idea. What if you have a squad of Blade Guard attached by a Judiciar, or you got that big squad of Assault Intercessors attached by Mephiston, which we know if the enemy charge, they fight first. Turn 1, we just go bang. I'm going to put that squad of Blade Guard and the Judiciar in cover on the center objective, so you can't see them to shoot them. If you want to charge them, then they're going to fight first.
Snowy donated £5 via Super Chat. Lib Dread can turn 1 charge Dante and 10 Sangard.
Dante gave +1 to charge. I haven't seen the Sangori Guard profile yet. I love my Librarian Dreadnought. I think it's a cool model. I've also seen some people convert them with like Custodes Dreadnought. That's originally what I was converting to use as my Gilliman model. This guy's cool. Like, these abilities alone make me want to pick this guy. Like, I don't really care about his weapons. We're going to see his weapons in a second. But overall, this is cool. If you've never played Orcs or the Necrons with Veil of Darkness, where they can just jump a unit somewhere where you don't expect them, and they can do that every turn, and they can do it on a 2-up, that's pretty darn cool. Okay, so he also has he's got a Bloodlance, a Stormbolter, the Fist, and the Halberd. The Fist is good. We already talked about this Fist being good. 5 attacks, so 6 on the charge. He gets an extra Psychic attack from the Halberd. Strength 9, -3, D6 +3, so this is better as well. Lost some strength, but got quite a bit more damage. His Psychic is actually pretty strong. Strength 10 and Strength 12. Thank you for the 1100 CLPs. I don't know what CLPs are, but Aziz, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, Psychic looks good. His Hazardous Psychic looks really good. It looks a bit risky, but I mean, not that risky, right? Sustained hits D3 again. Our Psychers look much better than they did in... yeah, our Psychers look hell of a lot better than they did in 9th edition. Like, this guy, if you roll 1/6 when you attack with your Psychic, he could do like 25 damage. He looks way better. I guess he's got a Meltagun, a Heavy Flamer, a Stormbolter. I mean, I'm just interested in this Psychic line. It's almost like you might want to just run 2 of these guys. Just like it was really strong. Am I missing something? 2 halberd. I think the extra attacks. I don't know if that. I'd assume the +1 attacks was for 1 weapon. I don't think you'd be able to add the +1 attacks to the extra attacks, but I haven't read that. Madness bound. Jacob says, do we get 2 attacks with a halberd on the charge? I assume not. I assume there's something that in the core rules that said extra attacks can't be modified or something. I think I read that. I'm still not 100% in all the core rules. Weapons with extra attacks on the profile are known as extra attacks. Each time the bearer with the weapon fights, it can make extra attacks with a number. In addition to 1, the number of attacks made by extra attacks cannot be modified by other rules. No, so you just get your 1 attack from the extra attack. So you get 1 extra attack with the fist when he charges, but you just get your 1 halberd attack. But the halberd got a little bit better. Do you know what? He's got better weapon skill as well. I like that because I always missed with that halberd. So I think the strength of this character though is jumping a unit turn 1. So while we don't have Forlorn Fury, I guess we can jump any unit we want. Infantry, which is most of our army, right? Turn 1. Wings with a big assault unit with Mephisto in it. Yes, that's what I said, Berg. Or Blade Guard with Judasar, or Terminator Captain, because the Terminator Captain gives rerolls to charge. Or Dante, because he gives plus to charge. The Librarian Dreadnought, I think you play him completely differently. Before he jumped in and he was like a, what would you call him? Like he was basically a smash character before. Now I think he's like an objective holder / like range DPS / utility, but some survivability mixed in and also some good melee. Like he's an all-round beast. I like the Librarian Dreadnought a lot, actually. I was going to say, is there anything you could attach to him that would make him really more interesting? Like, you could give his melee weapons Lance. You could give one of his weapons +1 damage. You could give him Visage of Death to reduce enemy objective control. Librarian Dreadnought seems interesting. I love running the Librarian Dreadnought, so I think 100% I'll be bringing him back into my list. Do you know what? Before we go to the Sanguinary Guard, what do people think of Librarian Dreadnought out of 10? Go and just write down. I've been streaming for apparently, feels like forever. 2 hours, 6 minutes. I'm going to take a leak. So grab yourself a quick coffee. Hit the like button if you didn't do that yet. Be back in 2 minutes. I'm going to take a leak and tell me what you think of the Librarian Dreadnought. Hello. Most people saying 8, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. Northern Front, Eric said 7 out of 10. Nemesis said 6. So a few people don't like him. No Invun. I don't think an Invun's going to be as important when you're on a 2-up save. And we do have that 1 CB strat to lower AP by 1. A lot of AP has been reduced. I mean, unless they've got Melta. Oh, interesting. He doesn't have the character keyword. Didn't notice that before. Huh. So Librarian Dreadnought is not a character anymore. Does that change how people feel about him? Other people are saying save is 2 up and AP is down across the board. Yes. Which I think helps him considerably. I think I would hide... I mean, I think I would try and place Librarian Dreadnought out with line of sight. to begin with if I was playing him, and jump a couple of infantry units. That's probably how I would do. 12 inch on the jump is very decent as well, because he moves 6, so you can jump. So after he moves, and assuming you can still advance and do psychic, then this minimum of 18 inches away, he can jump something. Where am I getting +1 damage from? I think you must have misread that enhancement. I thought it said you could. I don't think you can do it. Oh, improves the armor penetration of 1. Sorry, yeah, I think I read that as plus. I think Artisan of War used to be +1 damage. I got confused. Okay, so we can't get +1 damage. Thank you so much for subscribing, Carl. Oh, Carl, you became a member again. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Okay, we ready to move on to Sangard? He doesn't feel no pain against mortal wounds, a 5-up, and psychic attacks. I think that's why I thought his hazardous looks really interesting, because hazardous will deal mortal wounds to you. So I think it's worth doing the hazardous witchfire on him every turn, right? Monster and vehicles suffer 3 mortal wounds. So statistically, you should take 2 mortal wounds, and then there's like a chance you'll feel no pain one of them. So even if you take a hazardous test, statistically, you're probably only going to take like 1 mortal wound. Taking 1 mortal wound throughout like the whole game for potentially like a bunch of strength 12 -3, d6 +3, sustained hits d3. I think that seems really good. All right, let's check Sangry Guard next. Psychic weapons don't have advanced. Sure, so psychic. So these abilities, I actually don't know. If an ability says psychic, can you advance and cast it? I'll need to check that. I know in the current edition you can, but like I said, until I play with the new rules, I learn by playing. Reading it, just everything gets a bit confused. Okay, Sangry Guard, movement 12, toughness 4, 2-up save, 2 wounds. Leadership 6. Right. Each time a melee attack against this unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So that's basically the same. While a warlord model is leading this unit, each time a melee attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Oh, interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. You can't. Okay, so you would need to be within 18 inches, or like 17.9 inches, I guess, to jump a unit. He moves 6, then you jump a unit within 12. So I still think that's quite a good amount of range. 18 inches away to jump a unit anywhere on the battlefield on a 2-up. I think that's really good. Okay. So if Dante, for example, joins the Sanguinary Guard, then in melee they become -1 to hit and -1 to wound. They also have a banner. Add 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in this bearer's unit. So I guess if someone carries the banner, do you have to... I imagine we have to pay for the banner, or 1 model can be equipped with the banner. You basically, Sanguinary Guard, become objective control 2. That's nice, isn't it? It's a little bit sad they don't have a heroic intervention free like that, the Death Company intercessors, but objective control 2, most people run Sanguinary Guard in squads of 6 or 7. So let's say 6. So you've got Dante there. Dante will be in the unit as well. So you'll have like objective control 14 or 16 with a group of Sanguinary Guard. -1 to hit in melee, -1 to wound in melee. What do the weapons look like? So Infernal Pistols, we know, lost some damage. Plasma Pistols, I guess, stayed the same. And Jealous Bolt Guns lost a point of AP. And they lost some range as well, actually. There are now pistols. Oh, interesting. So you can shoot in Jealous Bolt Guns in melee. If you're stuck in melee combat, you can shoot your Jealous Bolt Guns. That's cool, I suppose. I mean, weight of fire, right? 2 shots per guy. You have 6 or 7 of them. You got essentially 24 pistols. There's no AP on them, sure, but yeah, I'm happy to lose a little bit of range on the Angelus bolt guns to be able to shoot them when you're in combat. I like that. Incarnate blades, so we thought Incarnate blades might be normalized into a single profile. So the single profile of Incarnate blades is 4 attacks per guy, so it would be 5 attacks on the charge, weapon skill 3 up, strength 5, -2, 2 damage. So they kind of, I think this is kind of decent. Strength 6 then, when you charge, -2, 2 damage, and the Power Fist, 1 less attack, but strength 8. Which would be strength 9 on the charge. I think objectively I'm back to thinking that blades might be better, but we'll have to see points costs. Steel Rain says you might run 10 now. I think the squad that you run with Dante, you probably want like a really big, like a big squad if they're -1 to wound as well, because they do have a 2-up save and you can improve that. Remember when we had Armor of Contempt and Sanguinary Guard were really good? Like, you can pay 1 CP now to Armor of Contempt them. So, for every 5 models in this unit, 1 model's Incarnate Blade can be replaced with a Power Fist. So you can have 1 Power Fist per 5 guys. Okay, so it's mainly Incarnate Blades, which is kind of what we would expect. Not many people ran Power Fists before Arcs of Omen. People probably only ran them because they were starting to be free. Most people probably have most of their Sanguinary Guard modelled without Power Fists. So this makes a lot of sense to me. Plus you get more attacks, I guess, with the blades. I think, realistically, probably what's going to happen is, when you charge with the big squad of Sanguinary Guard, you're probably going to want to play Red Rampage on them, right? So 6s become lethal hits, was it? I forget Red Rampage exactly. 6s become lethal hits, and models also get the Lance keyword. We looked at that like an hour ago and I forgot what Lance does already. Isn't it +1 to wound? So if you make a charge, you get +1 to wound. So probably what you're going to end up with the Sanguinary Guard then are like a bunch of guys with Incarnate Blades. They're going to be strength 6 -2, 2 damage. You're going to pay your Red Rampage, so 6s to hit become auto wounds. You're going to get +1 to wound. So maybe you're... The thing is, like, if we know most armor and enemies are going to be like toughness 10, then there's almost no advantage on the Power Fist, right? Because on the charge, your Power Fist is going to be strength 9, so you're still going to wound toughness 10 on 5s. Your blades are going to be strength 6, so they're still going to wound toughness 10 on 5s. So you're going to want to pay the Red Rampage to get +1 to wound. So then you would wound on 4s on both of them. And you're going to have more attacks with the blades. So for me, it seems like Incarnate Blades are probably... The debate about axes and swords is gone. It's just going to be blades. Remember, Dante's going to be in the unit, so you're going to get +1 to your hit. So you're going to hit on 2s. So you're going to hit on 2s. You're going to get 1 added to your charge roll because Dante's there. And, yeah, I mean, interestingly, if you take a Librarian Dreadnought, you could jump a 10-man squad. You could jump a 10-man squad of Sanguinary Guard and Dante 9 inches away turn 1, and then just take the shot, right? Like, I am going to charge you turn 1 with Dante and 10 Sanguinary Guard. I need an 8, and I'm going to pay my 1 CB that I have to reroll that. I mean, you could do that. You need a plan for toughness 12, not just toughness 10. Right, well, but it's going to be... Is it going to be any different? Toughness 12? Okay, yeah, so toughness 12. So basically what you're saying is, Sanguinary Guard, you probably want... If you're running a 10, you want 8 with blades and 2 with fists. If you're running anything less than that, you want to take the 1 guy with the Power Fist, I think. The pistols, it's probably up to you. Infernal Pistols we know are good. Angelus Bolt Guns have got better, probably, just because you can shoot them in combat and you're going to be in combat a lot. It's all going to depend on the points costs and stuff like this, I think. The banner looks good as well. Objective Control 2 on the Sanguinary Guard. They can also be led with a captain if you wanted to lead them with a captain. So maybe you want Dante leading 1 squad of Sanguinary Guard, a 5 to 10. And what could a captain that can be attached to an assault squad with a jump pack? Let's have a quick look at that. A captain with... Oh, no. I think I pressed the wrong thing. Captain with jump pack. So a captain with jump pack, when he's attached to a unit, while this unit is leading a unit, each time that ends a charge move, until end of turn, add 1 to the strength characteristics of melee weapons in that unit. So that would put your strength on those Incarnate Blades up to 7, if you include the +1 from Blood Angels and the +1 from here. And once for battle, this army can be targeted for a stratagem for 0 CP, even if another unit for your army has been targeted with a stratagem this phase. Interesting. So you could basically play Red Rampage on both units of Sangre Guard. So they're both going to get 6s auto wound, +1 to wound. And I think, like, me personally, I have a bunch of captains with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers. I still like that. Some people might like Relic Weapons, Relic Blades and Storm Shields. Some people have that. Some people still might like Infernal Pistols and Storm Shields. I like that as well. So I think Sangre Guard have come out on the other side of this in a pretty good situation. If you can add the banner to both squads as well, I don't see any reason you couldn't. And then, and in all this, we're not factoring in Oath of Moment. At any point, I suppose, you could Oath of Moment the target enemy, the toughness 12 enemy that you mentioned, Mark, and get full hit and wound rerolls, right? You lose... Yeah, you can only have one Warlord, yes. So Dante would be the unit that you probably do... Dante is probably going to be your Warlord. So he's probably going to be -1. Hey, Brett, how you doing? Good afternoon. 334 people watching live right now, which is pretty crazy, and almost 200 likes. We need 3 more likes to get to 200. Please hit the like button. Dante charge one group, Captain charge another group with 2 Librarian Dreadnoughts. It said on the Librarian Dreadnought, Kevin, you can only use Wings of Sanguinius once per game, so you couldn't jump 2 units because it said once per turn. At the end of your movement phase, 1 psyker from your army with this ability can use it. So I think that basically says it would be fucking crazy if on a 2+ you could jump multiple units. Everyone just run 3 Librarian Dreadnoughts and turn 1 just be like, right, I'm just going to make 3 charges. But yeah, basically on turn 1 you can put 1 and you can put 1 unit. Bear in mind, remember, Death Company get to reroll charge for free. So basically every single turn, Blood Angels can put 1 unit 9 inches away, wherever the fuck they want, and make a charge and see how that goes. Yes, it's not the most reliable, but it will also... You don't always have to put the guys in the open, or you know, you can put them anywhere you want. Okay, so a captain leading Sangre Guard is good. Dante leading Sangre Guard is good. I think that's our only 2 choices. The banner looks great. I think the profiles look great. I don't really have any complaints, and I think the fact that Armor of Contempt is back, and AP is down across the board, and you can make them -1 to wound. I think Sangre Guard and melee combat are actually going to be quite a bit more tricky for the enemies to deal with. And then they can also fight on death, because we like to fight on death. Cool. What do let's have it. Let's have out of 10. What are people rating Sangre Guard? So write a number dash 10 and tell me out of 10 what you think of the new Sangre Guard. I think I'm pleased. Like, every unit that I'm going through, like, my main worry was, like, my opinion of the 9th edition codex was they copy and pasted the 8th edition rules. So Blood Angels didn't change much between 8th and 9th, and I was really disappointed about 9th. Even though this is like an index of rules, like a lesser revamp, I'm feeling really positive about this at the moment anyway. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is we have nothing that is adding to our charge range. That's the one thing that I'm not liking. So that does make Deep Strike inherently more risky. Lots of 8s and 9s, a few 7s, a few 6s, a few 10s. So people think Sangre Guard are probably about an 8 out of 10. I think if you attach Dante to them, and Dante, you attach your Warlord to them, I think that actually makes them very strong. I think Dante attached to them is pretty good. I think Objective Control 2, I think you guys are underestimating them. Basically, these guys, if you add the banner, have the same OC as troops. So these guys are going to be really good at grabbing objectives for you. Even like 3 guys will now control an objective against a 5-man squad of troops, you know? Or a 5-man squad of enemies, not troops, sorry. Deny the Witch says it's a 10 out of 10 auto pick. You must also take Dangate and the Sanguiner. Oh yeah, I haven't even seen the Sanguiner's profiles yet. David says it seems like we've got more mobility. I do feel like we've got more mobility, David, but I don't think we've got many ways to get +1 to... So Dante is +1 to charge, and our Dreadnoughts can get +2 to charge against vehicles and monsters. But I don't know if there's any other... If they don't know if there's any other way we can get more reliability on our charge. And we do live and die by our charges, right? Okay, so let's move on. The Sanguinary Priest. Okay, what's new with Sanguinary Priest? He has 4 wounds, toughness 4. Not much changed. He has a bolt pistol, and he has a chainsword. That's what he had before. 5 attacks and a 2-up. Fine. So while this model is leading unit, models have a 5-up Feel No Pain ability. So the Feel No Pain has got better. It used to be a 6. The 5-up like this used to be from the Wrath of Baal, and that was really good. So he's got a 5-up Feel No Pain. While this model is leading a unit, improve the armor penetration of melee weapons by 1 as well. Alright, so this Sanguinary Priest does not have a jetpack. Is there going to be a second profile for one with a jetpack, or did they cut the Sanguinary Priest with a jetpack? He has no war gear options. He can attach to Assault Squad, a Devastator Tactical Squad, or Vanguard Veteran Squad. You can also attach him to a model, even if they've already been attached by a Captain, a Chapter Master, or Lieutenant. I think that's irrelevant, actually, because the Chapter Master wouldn't attach to any of these other things. But, well, maybe Gabriel Seth can attach to one of them. So I don't know what he could attach to that would make him good. Is there a Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack? Yeah, there is one. Okay, let's just look at that one now. Where's the Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack? Alright, with the jump pack, he also has the 5-up Feel No Pain ability. He also has the increased armor penetration by 1. He can attach to Vanguard Veterans or Assault Squads with jump packs. Interesting. I think for me, just thinking about this out loud, the thing that probably is most interesting then is attach the Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack to a Vanguard Veteran Squad with a lot of Storm Shields, and then you have a bunch of 4-up saves, but with a 5-up Feel No Pain ability, and you also make those Vanguard Veteran weapons much more tasty at killing like infantry because they're now strength 6 minus 2. I guess you could also attach a Captain, a Chapter Master, Lieutenant or something to the Vanguard Veteran with jump packs. I actually don't think there's a Lieutenant with a jump pack anymore, so I think this is probably a typo. But, yeah, what do people think of Sanguinary Priest? Is anyone going to play them? It's like an edge, like... I think you have to take the one with the jump pack, unless you're putting them on an Assault Squad or a Vanguard Veteran Squad, maybe out of a Rhino or something. I always think the jump packs are better. You can attach them to the Sanguinary Guard. Can you? How do you attach them to the Sanguinary Guard? What am I missing? You can attach this model to one of the above units, even if one Chapter Master has been attached to it. I'm not seeing how you would do that. There's been a lot of information. No revive is a hard pass. I don't know if no revive for me is a hard pass. I don't run the Sanguinary Priest a lot in 9th edition without... I ran them a lot without the Selfless Healer. And armor penetration is down across the board, so adding some AP, I think, is not bad. Sanguinary Guard also count as an Assault Squad with a jump pack. Do they? I'm glad you're here. A Captain model for your army with the Leader ability can be attached to this unit instead. Does that mean you can attach the Sanguinary Priest, though, to that unit as well? Because it's saying a Captain can attach to them, And then the priest says, this model can be attached to the following units. I don't think that's valid. I think they're basically calling that out, like saying a captain can attach to the Sangori Guard if it can attach to Assault Squad with jump packs. But I don't think it's saying then the Sangori Priest can attach as well. No, it says captain only. Yeah, chat says captain only. So someone did say that the Sangori Priest could attach to an Assault Squad with jump packs, which we talked earlier about being pretty strong with all the chain swords. But I'm not sure. The Sangori Priest. Let's do it out of 10. What do people think of the Sangori Priest? Unless I'm missing something, I think there's better options to take now. I mean, a 5-up Feel No Pain is not bad. Plus 1 AP if you have like a lot of attacks is not bad. But I don't know what I could attach it to that seems really strong, right? JD Money says the Sangori Priest is just dog poo, and we're all hoping to polish the poo. Yes, maybe. 5 or 6 out of 10. Assault Squad and Vanguard Vets with jump packs could be nicely priced. Yeah, I mean, if they're really nicely priced, if they're really cheap models, then maybe giving them a 5-up Feel No Pain could be worth it. There is ways to give them an invulnerable save as well, I guess, like maybe... no revive, no heal. So in 8th edition, we used to have an aura of 5-up Feel No Pain. And honestly, 5-up Feel No Pain is pretty good. We never used to have a heal or revive, I think, in 8th edition. And I got on really well with the 5-up. Like, if you have a big squad and the whole squad's 5-up Feel No Pain and it's 2 damage weapons, you'd be surprised at how often you can get through that. Especially if you had Vanguard Veterans with shields or something. It depends entirely on the Vanguard Veterans with Storm Shield prices, 2 scoops. Okay, alright, so Sangori Priest is about middle of the road. No one really loves him or hates him. 5 out of 10. Alright, Sanguinor. He's got some more wounds, does he? He used to have 5 wounds. He's now got 7. Cool. He still has a 2-up save, toughness 4. He has no melee weapon, he just has a sword, which is now strength 8, 2-up weapon skill. Strength 6, minus 3, 2 damage. So the exact same strength and AP as Astaroth, however, this time he has devastating wounds. 8 attacks though, which I guess becomes 9 on the charge. So the Sanguinor, 9 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s. Devastating wounds, which is mortals on 6s to wounds. So he's got an aura. While friendly adeptus starters units are within 6, you can reroll Battle Shock and leadership tests taken for that unit. I thought a Battle Shock was a leadership test, but okay, we can do both. I guess I don't know the rules for 10th edition well enough yet. So he's a lone operative, so I guess he attaches to no one. He's just a lone operative. Cool. Once per battle, at the end of your opponent's charge phase, this model is still in reserve. You can select one enemy unit that made a charge. Move this phase, set this model up on the battlefield within engagement range of the enemy unit. So they still have Miraculous Savior here, but he still has no fight first. Which I think was the problem with... Oh no, he has fight first. Sorry. Oh shit, okay, cool. Sanguinor is an auto take, surely. The enemy charge you anywhere in the battlefield, you just put down the Sanguinor and go, I'll fight first. Okay, and I'll have 9 attacks at strength 8. Strength... We wouldn't get her bonus attacks though, right? Because you wouldn't count as being charged. You wouldn't have charged. So 8 attacks, weapon skill 2 up, strength 6, minus 3, 2 damage. So like, if the enemy charge you with any squad of like, let's say 5 guys, like 5 intercessors, I don't know, like 5 aspect warriors, whatever. We just instantly drop we instantly drop the Sanguinar and kill their whole squad. And they don't get to even fight. Statistically, 8 attacks hitting on 2s means you make, what, like 6 or 7 hits? Your strength 6. So you wound on 2 or 3s, and every 6 is 2 mortal wounds. I think that's pretty darn tasty. He does have a 4-up, and he does have 7 wounds as well. So if a couple of the guys survive, they're not killing him. And now we have the ability for 1 CP to fall back and charge, so next turn he can just move. Like, if he doesn't kill the squad, that's fine. He'll just move off 12, charge something else, and then he'll get his charge bonus, etc., etc. You have to use the ability in turns 2 or 3, or he comes down normally because he's in reserve. Yes. Could you use this in turn 1 now? Did it used to say you couldn't use it in turn 1, or? I haven't read all the strategic reserve rules. I mean, maybe you have to use it in turn 2 or 3. It's a lot better than it was, right? Because before you would just bring it down and they would just kill him. Because there's no way for him to fight first. I need a bunch of other stats last edition that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, you know, he gave you bonus attacks like Shock Assault that you probably didn't need. And he could Heroic Intervene further, but I guess you never really used. You can give him Precision too for 1 CP. Okay, so I think, bearing in mind that not that many charges happen in turn 1, I think it's probably pretty good to have the Sanguinar in reserve now. Because normally what happens in a game of 40k is weaker stuff gets into combat in the initial turns, right? So if weaker units are getting into combat in the initial turns, you now have a way to basically just charge deter any weaker unit. So you can just be like, yeah, I'm going to put my 5-man squad of incursors quite far forward, thinking like, and the enemy might be, well, I can kill those 5 incursors with, I don't know, 5 aspect warriors, and you can just be like, right, sure, well, you charge them with your aspect warriors, then I'll just instantly heroic from Miraculous Savior and just kill, I don't know, I might not kill all 5 aspect warriors, but I'll kill 4 of them, or I'll kill enough of them that it's like, now you can't do anything, you can't kill my squad's still alive. He's gone from, I'm not considering him at all, to this guy actually sounds really interesting now. And it's interesting that we do get a lone operative, because and people talk about Battle Shock being really important this edition. Well, he also really helps with Battle Shock as well. I like him quite a lot. I'll have to get some games with him. What do you guys think of Sanguinar? You going to take him? What are you giving him out of 10? It's not just what he can do, it's the threat of what he can do. That's entirely it, Seraph Song. Like, your opponent will play different if they know they can't really charge you with any of their weak units, or you're just going to wipe their unit, right? Like, I don't know, even like Necrons trying to tie you up with, like, warriors or scarabs or something. Yeah, like, yeah, sure, charge me with your scarabs. I'll just kill all your scarabs and then I'll just get extra movement from them for all my units. Someone just bought him on eBay. Is he not is he not available anymore? Is he made to order now, the Sanguinar? I didn't realise that. A lot of people saying 8s or 9s out of 10. He sounds fun. 9 out of 10 from Cameron. 10 out of 10 from Nico. Pierre, 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10, he's scarier off the board than on it, says Kevin. Auto take. Alright, people really like the Sanguinar. Cool. Alright, I think we might be moving on to the last character. Is this him? The last one. Okay, I feel like I've covered a lot. I'm going to have to cover all of this again at some point. I'm going to break things down. The last character is a meme character. I guess it is Tycho the Lost. He got lost and wandered into the Codex. He should have been put into Legends. They don't even sell him. You can only get him on that made to order. So the lost version of Tycho has a Feel No Pain 6-up. He's a forlorn hero. While this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to declare a charge in the turn which it advanced. Okay, so cool. We are potentially leading Firstborn Death Company, I'm guessing. Yeah, we can lead Death Company, and we can advance and charge. So we can put a bunch of Death Company into a transport or something like that. He has a Black Rage, so he will reroll his attacks. If he's not within 12 of a chaplain, obviously he can't fall back and he has no objective control. He has Death Visions of Sanguinius. Alright, so we kept this. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, after the attacking unit has finished making the attack, you can roll a d6, adding 2 to the result if the attacking unit contains the enemy warlord. On a 2 to 3, that enemy suffers 3 mortal wounds. On a 4 to 5, that enemy suffers d3 plus 3 mortal wounds. On a 6, that enemy suffers d6 plus 3 mortal wounds. So when you kill him in melee, he potentially does 9 mortal wounds to you. I can't decide if that's better than him getting 12 attacks after the first time he's attacked. On the other Tycho datasheet, where was the other Tycho datasheet? It was way early, wasn't it? It's funny because it's like they had stuff in... Oh, he's going to be Captain Tycho, isn't he? Yeah, okay, Captain Tycho. I thought it was in alphabetical order and then it went... Yeah, you know, both Tychos are pretty good, actually. Like, way better than I thought they were going to be. So if the enemy warlord attacks you, if you get killed, if Tycho gets killed by the enemy warlord, on a roll of 1, because you get +2, they take 3 mortal wounds. On a roll of 2 to 3, they take d3 plus 3, and on a 4-up, they take d6 plus 3. So, like, Death Visions is pretty good. His Dead Man Hands is pretty good. His Blood Song is kind of ridiculously good in that his Devastating Wounds, Melt the 2, Anti-Infantry 4. I'm going to get confused as hell by all these different keywords and all the stacking that goes on with them, but I guess we'll get used to it. He does get Feel No Pain that the other Tycho doesn't get, and... Did the other Tycho only have 4 wounds? So Tycho he potentially lost a wound, did he? Where was the other Tycho? Captain Tycho. No, so for some reason, Tycho has 5 wounds. Death Company Tycho has 4 wounds. I don't know. He never lost a wound before in the old profile. I guess he lost a wound this time around. Maybe that's a typo, but I doubt they'll fix it until the new codex is done. Maybe it's good he's got less wounds. He's more likely to die and then just do 9 mortal wounds to the enemy with a Death Vision. Advance and charge out of a Rhino is going to potentially... I mean, like a cheeky Rhino with 5 Death Company and Tycho the Lost in it doesn't sound bad. If the Warlord kills a melee, a 4-up does d6 plus 3 mortals, yes. Do we know if we lose Death Visions in 10th? Yes, I mean, the only Death Visions we're going to get, I think, is this one that's mentioned on Tycho. I don't think we can promote random characters to the Death Company anymore. I think all that stuff is gone. Willem says he's playable unlike the previous Tycho. Yeah, it looks like way. I love that they made such an iconic character good in 10th. Everyone talking about him. Yeah, I mean, they've made him good. Whether or not, I suppose, like, I think this might be his last hurrah because he's not going to go Primaris and everyone else is going Primaris. There's a special sheet called the Quick Start sheet for all the Universal special rules. Yeah, I need to print that and read it like 100 times, Mark. Thanks. Is Death Company Tycho better than the regular version? I think personally I like the regular version, but I think they do 2 different things. I think the regular version is a shooting Tycho, and I think this Death Company version is a melee Tycho. But then the thing is, the regular version gets 12 attacks after he's fought in combat one time. So I think the regular version is just objectively better, but the Death Company one might be fun as hell because when your character dies, I mean, when he dies, if this model is destroyed by a melee attack after the attack has finished, you could then do 9 mortal wounds, then you could pay 2 CP and fight on death, right? he can just join Death Company Marines. But you can't have both Tycho and Tycho the Lost in the army. That makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But his gun's still really good. And the cool thing about his gun, I suppose, is the Death Company version, he gets to reroll all the hits with his gun. I mean, there's only 2 shots, but his gun can do like 4 mortals. Well, it can do 8, actually. Surfon says, I really like this codex. So let's do a out of 10 for Tycho the Lost. What do people think of Tycho the Lost? His save is different? No, 2 up, 4 up. I think Tycho's always had a 2 up, 4 up. Yeah, 2 up, 4 up. I guess he's got a feel. He lost a wound, but he got a feel no pain. So I mean, statistically, that's slightly worse. But I mean, I guess it gives him some protection against like mortals and nonsense like that. If the 9 mortal wounds don't kill the enemy warlord, then you can angel sacrifice. Yeah, I mean, angel sacrifice is going to be pretty useful. There's no limit on epic heroes. You just cannot take the same one in more than once in the same army. And the only limit, I suppose, Mark, is if you take any of the Blood Angels characters, you can't take Seth, and if you take Seth, you can't take any of the named Blood Angels characters. Robert White says Tycho is back, baby. We've got a few people saying 7s out of 10s. I think the firstborn Tycho got way higher numbers. I think people were saying he was like 9 out of 10. This Tycho is about 7 or 8 out of 10. Evan's asking why is he here. I mean, that's the question that I was asking. I'm pleasantly surprised, though. Like, it sucks, you know, like with the Forge World changes that we just got a few weeks ago. It kind of sucks to put all those models to. I haven't put them in the bin, but I'm very unlikely to ever play with them again. I'm very unlikely to finish painting any of the Forge World models that I was in the middle of painting. So I suppose it's nice to know that at least my Tycho doesn't need to go in the shelf of, I don't know, the shelf of desolation where I never use any of the models ever again, right? 7 out of 10 for Tycho. Yeah, there's going to be so many interesting combos here and so many difficult ways to. Oh, well, the Army List show is going to be interesting for a while, isn't it? Because this is a lot to take in. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I think we're at the end of the stream. I think what I wanted to ask at the end of the stream was like, out of 10, I'll do a little vote and we'll get a community vote, right? 1 second. Start a poll. I don't know if I can put that many options. Right, let me see how many options I can do. I can do 4 options. All right, 9 to 10. I guess like 7 to 8. I don't think anyone's going to go as low as this, but here we go, all right? I'll put up a poll. Out of 10, what do you think the new Blood Angels Codex gets? Only can give 4 options. So go ahead and vote. And if anyone's got any last questions, because I probably need to get off here, and I was supposed to be doing work this afternoon. Like I was supposed to work on my tactics video for Friday. I came up here, got distracted for an hour, and then this dropped. And this stream was I was probably going to do an hour. We're almost live, 3 hours. 300 people watching this whole time. 61% say that they think the Codex is about 7 out of 10, or 7.5, 7 or 8 out of 10. You should pull Blood Angels detachment or Red Gladius detachment. So that we're clear, Northern Front, Eric. If I wanted to run my Blood Angels as a Gladius detachment, which would mean we lose. What would we lose if we're doing Gladius? We would lose the Red Thirst, and we would lose all our enhancements and all our stratagems, right? So we wouldn't get any of our stratagems, and our stratagems are pretty cool, right? Like Angel Sacrifice reroll, giving you reroll hits, being able to consolidate further, being able to get lethal hits and lance in the fight phase, getting Armor of Contempt, getting Fight on Death for 2 CP, and getting Fallback and Charge for 1 CP. That's all really good. I don't know if I like any of the enhancements overly, but maybe there's some edge cases I'm not figuring out yet. So we lose all that, right? And we lose the +1 strength, +1 attack. But at the same time, we do get to keep Oath of Moment. That's the thing that we haven't talked about. So we do get to, on top of all the rules that we've got, at the start of every command phase, we pick one unit from your opponent's army, we get full hits and re-rolls against that one unit, right? But if we go Gladiatus, we would get Devastator, Tactical, and Assault Doctrine. You can be in each Doctrine for 1 turn. We still get Fight on Death for 2 CP. We still get Armor of Contempt for 1 CP. We get Honor of the Chapter, which is in the fight phase, get the Lance ability and get 1 more EP if we're in Assault Doctrine. We can change a unit's Doctrine. We can make a move with an infantry or mounted unit when the enemy end their move within 9 inches of us. And we can do Storm of Fire, which is like in the Devastator Doctrine, we can ignore cover and we can get more EP. And then we get these Bolter Discipline, Adept of the Codex, Artificer Armor, and Honor Vehement. I just say that right. So we can get all those, but we can still take all of our Blood Angels named characters, right? But we lose. So it's the enhancements, it's the stratagems, and it's basically the detachment rule. So I mean, both sound okay. Like I'm kind of okay with both. I think personally, where I stand right now, I think the Blood Angels one is better. Just because I like Fight on Death. But I mean, I guess you can do that in both. I do like +1 attacks, +1 strength. And then there is that Red Rampage to get +1 wound. And like, if we talked about it before, if you run Sanguinary Guard, you could run 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard. You could play Red Rampage on both. All right, I'll ask. So both squads of Sanguinary Guard, +1 strength, +1 attack, +1 wound. 6s are lethal hits. All right, there's a poll up. What do you prefer, the Blood Angels detachment rule or Gladiatus detachment rule? Let's wait till we got 100 votes and we'll end it, and then I'll be piecing out and I'll maybe go actually do some work. It's good to have both options, says Jefferism. Yeah, it's good to have both. It's definitely good to have both, because at some point in the last edition, the Blood Angels sort of, because we got a codex very early, I felt like we fell behind a little bit, and then it took us a while to catch up. So I do think it's great to have both. The Blood Angels detachment is winning massively on this vote, which surprised me. Gladiatus has advanced in charge. That's very true. But the vote stands right now. Sanguiner would fight first since you're the defending player. You are right, Ron. There is, off the top of my head, there's 4 ways we can get fight first now. We can have Mephiston with an assault squad. We can have a Judiciar with Blade Guard. We can have the Sanguinar. Was that it? Sorry, was there just 3? I think I'm okay if we can have 3 fights. 3 fight firsts. And we can have a Fight on Death. And we can have a Fallback and Charge. It's the Blood Angels channel after all. Okay, so 81%. We got 81 votes on that. Do you need +1 strength and +1 attack when charging on all 5 turns? Yes, is the answer. I hated it in 9th edition, how we had to wait around turn 1 and turn 2 to be able to get strong, basically, to get Assault Doctrine, or you had to take the Sanguinary Priest tax. But no, I think so I built a Judiciar the other night. I think I'm gonna start by getting an Assault Squad ready to go with Mephiston, Assault Intercessors to go with Mephiston, 2 squads of Blade Guard, 2 Judiciars, and then Terminators with the jump from the Terminators with a jump from the Librarian Dreadnought, like Assault Terminators jumping turn 1. It's going to be real interesting. Okay. Mephiston fights first if he's leading a unit. Yes, so Assault Intercessors and Mephiston are going to be pretty difficult to charge. The Librarian Dreadnought psychic powers were really strong. Was Mephiston's psychic as strong as Librarian Dreadnought? No, you know what? It's weird actually. So Mephiston's psychic. This is Mephiston, who's apparently like big, nasty, super strong psyker. His Witchfire is only strength 5 minus 2 d3 damage, right? The Librarian Dreadnought. His Witchfire is strength 12 minus 3 d6 plus 3 sustained hits d3. I mean, he gets sustained hits d3 even on his non-risky one. Alright, there's so much to digest here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We get 300 viewers pretty much this whole stream. That's a new record for me. I do appreciate it. Leave a like on the video if you haven't done that. Leave a comment if there's something you want to talk about. If you've not joined our Discord yet, you should. The link to this PDF is in the video description. Sixes are triple explode. It was Mephiston that had this sixes triple explode, was it? Yeah, so Mephiston's sixes triple explode. Okay. Alright. Librarian Dreadnought's ones are not bad either. I was going to say, like, it's going to be tricky because it's like Dante seems pretty good, Mephiston seems pretty good, Librarian Dreadnought seems pretty good, Death Company Dreadnought seems pretty good. I mean, Sanguiner seemed pretty good, Lamartez seemed pretty good. I think Astaroth was nah. But you could attach him. Tycho. How the hell am I going to fit Tycho into my list? It was a nice time, says Pierre. Thanks so much for watching. Is this going to stay up for a rewatch? Yes, 100% this will be up for a rewatch. I don't typically hide any of my live streams. And I mean, I'll be breaking this down into bite-sized videos. This stream's coming up onto 3 hours. I actually feel my voice going a little bit hoarse. So, enjoy your day, guys. Leave me any comments. I'll make 100 videos over the next 3 years on 10th edition. We can start anywhere you want. Whoever leaves good comments on what they want to see, I'll make the videos. And yes, last thing then, I'm going to plug my podcast. I don't know how many of you follow my podcast, but we do a podcast every second Thursday. And with the indexes and stuff like this, there's so much new 40k content to come out. We'll probably follow all of it. We'll probably cover all of it. I'll put a link to my podcast that looks something like this. Do you know what? Some people have subscribed today because we've gone up in subscribers. And we're live every second Thursday for like 2 hours. We drink beer, or drink whatever the fuck you want, actually. Drink coffee, drink beer, drink whiskey. Come hang out. We just have a good time. It's not too serious. And we're going to talk about all these rules. Is it on Spotify? No, it's not on Spotify yet, but it is set as a podcast on YouTube. So I think it means if you have the YouTube app, YouTube are moving into podcasts, you can download the podcast and listen to us in YouTube. But I think they've only done that in the US. They're rolling out more countries. I would love videos zeroing in on certain units and strategies to use them with, says Tough Kiwi. I mean, that's what this channel is all about, Tough Kiwi. And throughout 10th edition, you can expect a video from me every Friday. Come out at 1 PM UK time pretty much every Friday. And we'll break down, we'll probably make a video on every single unit. I mean, if, you know, I'll make a new tactics playlist. Like if you go over to the Blood Angels Commander channel, it looks something like this, and you click playlists, or maybe it's just here actually. You just scroll down a little bit. Tactics. Like this is the tactics playlist for 9th edition. I made 134 videos. So, I mean, I'll just rename this tactics. 9th edition. I'll make a 10th edition tactics video. 10th edition tactics playlist. I guess the first video is probably coming this Friday. Insane Shane says, great stream. Thank you so much, Insane Shane. Thanks to everybody that watched, subscribed, is a channel member. And there's a link on Patreon in the Discord as well if you want to chuck me. It's like a cup of coffee, like $2.50 a month. I appreciate it. Cool. All right. Enjoy your afternoon. Leave me any questions. I'll see you guys in Discord as well. Seller says thanks for going over this. You're very welcome. I'm sure I made a few mistakes. Please feel free to call me out in mistakes in chat. Someone tell me what enhancements are good, because I'm looking at them and I'm not seeing a lot of strength in the enhancements. I'm seeing a ton of strength in the stratagems. But cool. I'll be on Discord for the rest of the day. Thanks again for watching, guys. Good afternoon. Peace.
Insane Shane donated $10 via Super Chat. Great stream. Thank you and hope every has a great rest of day.